Yes, people. We are back live. We are back live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube for another Manchester United Liverpool show. Man United podcast meets the analysis at Anfield podcast, brought to you by myself, Flawless Mr. Take Note. So please keep all your comments, all your questions, Manchester United or Liverpool related. And I'm joined by my co-host, regular co-host of this show. Saint is in the building. What are you telling me, Saint? You good?
I'm blessed, man. I'm good.
Yeah, man, come. Well, saying that. So, this guy. We go get into it also. You lot, this guy, yo.
Come on.
You crack me up. I swear on my life. This guy.
Got lots to talk about on our front, but I don't even know if we're gonna. I can give you about an hour, and I don't even know if we're gonna pack all of the subjects of all the links, the route, all the activity going on our side, yeah.
Yeah, we gonna get into that, but just you know what I'm saying. So yeah, before we get into all of that, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Like I said, people keep your questions and comments, Manchester United, Liverpool related. Warrior J, man, already a funny guy saying big up, bro. That's a fact. And mentioning that, people, you know what I'm saying, I got to welcome a very, very special guest. Always try and bring you lot on Sarcasm City TV the best special guests possible. So this special guest right here is your favorite content creator's favorite content creator. First and foremost, let me get that out of the way. Favorite content creator's favorite content creator, without doubt. I've had the privilege and honor to be on his channel. We've been on other channels before. It's his debut on the channel today. And man's just a superstar. Like, I don't even need to just straight when it comes to this content creator thing. He has the it factor. So I gotta welcome man to the stream. Man like James Redmond is in the building. What are you telling me,
my guys? My brothers, man. Hey, yo, Saint, my brother. What's going on, G? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Good, yeah? Long time no see, my guy.
Been a while.
Yes. What are you saying, James?
Can I say something one second, Flawless?
Yeah.
I just want to say something really quick.
Yeah.
Flawless, you're my G. Rhubarb's gone. That's Rhubarb, by the way. Flawless, you're my guy. We've known each other for a long time. We've done great 100%. Shows, great content, and it's been a pleasure. My man, Saint. We've done a show before. We've had a regular show, yeah. This guy, like, he messaged me in times, mate, where I was going through some tough periods, and he stayed in touch. And you know what, mate? He's one of those people. You've done this as well, Flawless. I just never told you as much at the time. But I told Saint and lad at the time, he'd message me. There'd even be weeks where I wouldn't get back to him. Not out of disrespect or anything, but just when too much goes over, and he'd still check in. So I just want to take the opportunity, man to man, bro, to just say, honestly, thank you for all that, mate. You're a legend, lad. And hope all is well with the family. It's good to still see you doing your thing.
Good, man. Come on. You know what I mean?
My G. Let's get into the show. Stop the soppy shit.
Yeah, you know we got it. This show's gonna be good. This show's gonna be good. So where do you want to start? Because there isn't, and Saint, he for those that don't know, before the show, me and Saint was talking about, and he was criticizing me because when the transfer window opened, I was talking about all the rumors and links in regards to Liverpool, and then since that show, which is like 3-4
weeks, you should have heard him, bro. You should have heard him, bro. Well, oh my God, there's just so much going on. I mean, and then you're like, I said, big man, stay calm. And you lot, Warrior J, all of them man there that have been locked in, you know I'm not chatting shit because you was there. Go run the States. I was like, big man, be easy. Like, no, but there's just so much activity going on. I said, all right. I didn't want to be pessimistic or nothing, but I know how we stay in it. Like, so I was like, boy, all it is, yeah, real talk is, I think the summer in which we're well deserved, and what everyone, I think even the toppest of top Reds are like, yo, this is the summer. You know, them ones there. Like, and with that type of summer, I'm talking just off the bat. It may differ with different people, but I think generally speaking, most people generally going to be like 3 midfielders. Do you know what I mean? However you want to break them up, a centre back, and maybe someone who can cover on the right wing. Like, because we ain't had that for years. That's kind of the summer which we're all kind of looking at, like, expecting, been kind of promised in that. And with that type of a summer, the work rate would have to be a little bit more. And when I say work rate, I'm talking like lockdown. So what I'm saying, 5 players, maybe lockdown 2 already. And that 2, the work rate don't come from this summer. you would have known the state of the squad and known how bad it was. So you were like, you know what? Wow, we need to fix this. Boom, bam, bam. We've got that lockdown. Do you know what I mean? Now maybe we go in fresh, having that's the bro. It looks like we've actually come into this summer like, boy, we kind of need some players, you know? Like, let's see what the market's saying. Like, that's literally what the fuck this summer looks like. Like, that's what I was trying to get at before. And I was like, big man, stay calm, because I know how my clubs run at the moment. And this was what I was fearing. Like, yeah, we got a little, do you know what I mean? We're kind of still over the line, good peas, cool. But relax, bro, because you get me.
Yes. Hey, James, where do you stand on it? Obviously, you've been linked with Khephren Thuram. Did sign McAllister as well, so that's the one signing. But all the other rumors or any links have really gone quiet. So where do you stand on your current situation?
I'm not an happy bunny, lad.
You know, happy talk to us, man. I love to hear Liverpool misery chat to me.
It's one of those scores where I just... What? Do you know what someone said to me before? That, Núñez is fine. Because think about, he needs time, and we just hold him to the highest standards because we were so privileged in having Suarez and Torres and all this. And I just thought, hang on a minute. I don't know. I know that Saint has one. I don't know both of you, but you know anyone who has a kid, is it a privilege for the kid to suck on the Mars tit? No, it's a requirement. It's a fucking requirement. It's a necessity. It's standard. You do not say when a baby is sucking on their mother's tit, oh, that is a privilege. You stand there and say that is standard. Well done, babe. That is standard. The same way that it is standard for us to have a world-class striker in our helm. And Núñez is not world-class. Now, it's fine if he's not world-class, because here's the score. We have long-term projects. So if you want to use him as a long-term project, that's one thing. But if we will all admit, which a lot of people are, that he was a long-term signing, then that means we neglected the right here, right now. And for one of the supposed best teams in Europe with the best ambitions in Europe to neglect the right here and right now, that to me, Flawless, is a massive, massive concern. And that's why I sit here and say I'm not happy with the business. And as we're not looking on getting an attacker, we're not looking on getting a right back. Therefore, it limits many things. It limits it means Trent will still stay in that position. It means we won't see him in midfield. It also means that we're less likely to get a top quality centre back. And meanwhile, while you're seeing teams like Newcastle getting Tonali, and fair enough, they've got the finances that we don't. But the fact we aren't even in the realm, in the field of the Barellas and you know, the Tuchemani's and Bellinghams, it says one thing and tells us another. It says that the club is saying to these media outlets, because Flawless, you know that the clubs have influence on certain media, because that's what gets them the inside access, you know. So if they continue to get the inside access and get those first hitting reports, who do you think the news is coming from? Who's the source that you can find out news about that isn't confirmed? A football club. So there's no smoke without fire when it comes to these links. So FSG, no, we need to be linked with big players, because on a marketing standpoint, that's good. But if they are not buying the big players, then that's a big issue. Last point, I go on for time.
No, that's cool, man. The floor's yours, man.
You know, bro, we family, bro.
Yeah, we cool. The floor's yours. Get it all off your chest, man. Get it all off your chest.
I appreciate the floor.
This guy's over here, honestly, this guy's
I appreciate the platform. I appreciate guys who can listen to me with fully understanding what I'm saying. Guys, I want to interact you in this next scenario, because to get people to understand, sometimes you need to bring them in. Right, let me raise the question. Would you consider good and caring owners to love your football club? So it doesn't even mean they have to be a Liverpool fan or a United fan. It can be a case of they just love their job. They love their business. They want to improve. The same way we want to become bigger YouTubers and become more successful, they want to become bigger businessmen. So that's what I mean when they say that they love their club. So can we all agree we want loving owners?
Yeah, 100%. You want someone who wants to do the best wants to do the very best at the job at hand. Absolutely, yes.
100%. So love is very important when it comes to ownership, right? The same way that love is important in a relationship. But the thing is, your girl can say she loves you, and then she's going out on Saturdays. Boys, be better. And the same way FSG can sit there and say, we're going to go and buy the best in town. But next thing you know, it's a different story. It's the carrot on the stick that you'll always follow. So what I think is real love is when you recognize, I can't take this no more. I can't take this no further. So the kid's analogy before, it's gone from the tit thing to now college. The kid's ready to go by himself. The mum and dad's done a great job. Sayonara. right now we've got to let you go and get on to bigger and better things. If FSG love the football club, which we've all simultaneously agreed is a very important factor, then they'd sit here right now, recognise they are financially and assets-wise inferior to other football clubs right now, and we are falling behind. So if they love us the way they should love us, or you'd like your owners to love you, then they should be looking for more investment. But that was the whole...
Even off of the back of what James has said, yeah? Because business nowadays, let's be honest, I think, like me personally, I want someone who wants the club to do well, and if they love the club, that's an added bonus. Do you know them? That's the one. Like,
I hear that. The two kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. Because if you want to do well, you probably got love for the club. If you want to do well, it probably stems from that. We'll go.
As I said, and with all the what's the word? Them thing there, the Russian thing. With all of that side, yeah, all of that to the side. Roman Abramovich was very much like, we all were jealous very much of the type of ownership that they had because of the type of love in which James is talking about. Do you know them ones there? Like, you could tell, like, he really, you know what I mean? When they didn't get that Champions League, you knew that now they're going to do a madness in order to try and get next year, like, because he was on it. That's the type of stuff in which we're talking about. And even if you're talking about profit, yeah, I think James has hit the nail on the head. Take the love out and put profit. Like, look at it, guys. Like, we are inferior to the counterparts in which we want to be sitting next to, and so we're not going to be getting the success on the pitch, which ultimately means we're not going to be making them. Do you know what I mean? Like, so whichever way you want to look at it, pockets wise, love wise, whatever. Bumba, leave, you know, like that. Like, that's what it is, bro. Like, we started, this is what pissed me off, because at the time, I said this as well, and I was getting corned for it. We are the ones, we started this, we're going to sell, we're going to maybe sell a part. All this sell talk started with us. Man United then jumped in, and I said, I don't trust my club. I don't trust the way we're run, and I don't trust. Now look, months and months. Who even remembers the last time the media said anything about selling them in the Liverpool camp? When was the last storyline that you? When? Crickets, bro. We're just talking about Jim Radcliffe and how. That's all. You get me?
I hear you.
Bro. Like, bro.
I hear you. Before we continue, people, I'm saying bring another special guest into the show, someone that you lot know already has been on this show before, been on this channel. Like, we got quality squad depth here at Sarcasm City TV.
Oh no, this is insane. This is actually insane recruitment. Fair play, flawless.
My like Ramsey's in the building. Yes, Rams, what are you telling me? You good?
Yeah, man, I'm good. I just spent the last 5 minutes looking over there because I saw some big ass spider in my room, and I was like, do I deal with it?
We're getting Rams in his most urgent and like defense mechanism. Like, he's coming in right now alert. You know what I mean? He's just had beef with a spider. So he's on. He's on right now.
The real ones know about the spider stories, boy. They know about it.
Did you deal with him? You can't let a man walk in your house like that.
Hey, like
it hid underneath all the.
We had one live. We were doing this show. We had one live, bro. Oh my!
Man said he was like 5 minutes late because the spider hid away from him.
No. I was in the background, yeah, but I just saw it right there. It came close to me that it ended up running away. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can't deal with it. I can't tear the room down over a damn spider, man. I can't do it.
It didn't want to smoke, but Rams,
it's so big that I can't handle it. You get me? If it's the small ones, I'll be like,
just take a shoe to it, fam, and you're calm. You know what I'm saying?
I can't smack it, bro. I can't.
Why can't you? Why can't you? Just imagine it was Michael Owen. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Then it's calm.
Bro, the cleaning process is a mad one.
Yo, you don't want to do the you'll be all right, man. Baby, calm.
Whoa, you're talking about cleaning. You're talking about cleaning process. I'm just trying to turn into Peter Parker. Allow me, bro. That's getting that way. Like, I'll worry about that cleaning process later. What?
Saying I already tried that when I was a kid, bro, and it didn't end well, man. It didn't end well. Took a trip to A&E for that shit.
He took a trip to A. What happened? What do you mean it took a trip to A&E? What happened?
I got bit by a spider, and I had a reaction. I had a reaction.
In England?
Yeah.
What?
I thought it never had any poisonous spiders here. So it must have been my body like wrecked it really badly, as if like it's some foreign thing.
Nah.
And turns out it was. So
Man thought he had the common cold while literally venom was being pumped through his veins throughout the night. I didn't know that we had poisonous spiders, you know. That's
I don't think it was a poisonous one. I think it's just my body. It was my body doing a madness.
This is why you can't let the spider beat you to the punch, Ram. You know what I'm saying? In that you gotta take your size 10 or whatever size foot you are, and handle business. That's what I do. Straight size 11.
So just get the boot and just get the grandpa slipper and just smack it.
Yeah, man. You gotta get to it. You know what I'm saying? Man,
yeah, if you can't beat the 1 foot spider, lad, then you're a bit done for in the world. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things.
Hey, lads, if everyone in the chat, make sure you bump up the likes. Only at 28, just under 50 of you in the building. Like, check 1212. Girls up to 40 likes. People hit the subscribe button if you haven't as well. We're legit just talking in regards to just the lack of activity with Liverpool.
Woes, bro. That's what we're talking about, bro.
But Sam, we got so many woes, bro.
All right, talk about it, Rams. The floor's yours.
Don't listen to this guy. He's trying to do up therapy, yeah?
Yo, what you
loving it, bro. Don't listen to this guy, bro. Just
of course, this guy's loving it. This guy's got Qatari guys coming in. He's getting Mason money, minerals, Manchester Mount in the club.
We started this whole selling thing and now it's a joke thing. Now you turn on, now it's Jim Ratcliffe and in Al Hassan and all this nonsense. Like, no one ain't even talking about no type of bid for Liverpool.
And the same Jim Ratcliffe guy is being a pain in the flipping ass about Khephren Thuram as well. It's annoying, man. But look, on the topic of Liverpool and why we are how we are. Mm-hmm. I think the main issue with me when it comes to the ownership is the fact that, like you guys reiterated earlier, there's no real care, there's no real investment, and there's no real understanding of the owners of how big an institution Liverpool Football Club is. I think people forget, and I only caught onto this recently, they sold our most historical and most famous part of our club, the training ground, Melwood, with the likes of McManaman, Dalglish, Rush, people like that, going back even to the days of St. John and Roger Hunt.
When did you not sell Melwood? You not sell it?
For AXA, yeah. We sold it.
Oh, see, I didn't know.
We sold it and bought it back.
And then we bought it back.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
We bought it for the women's, so now it's the women's training ground. But it was weird that we sold it in the first place. Yeah. I agree with Rams. It was weird, lads. It was a strange
But James, we all know it was for AXA, innit? AXA wanted their training ground. And the state-of-the-art training ground, merging both the youth academy and the first team training together. It's been annoying. It's been annoying, and the fact that we always hear the excuses of, they're putting money into the stadium, they're doing this for the team, they're doing that. Well, other owners in the entire league, their owners put their money into stuff like the stadium, the training ground, and stuff like that. Not the club's money, because I think there's been a stat that the owners haven't taken money out of their own pockets; they've all taken money out of the club, and that is pathetic, man. It's pathetic. And I think just one quick one saying, yeah, I don't think us as Liverpool fans are saying I want Qatari owners from my own point. I want everything to be state of the art. I want the men's team to be the greatest. I want the women's team to be the best. I want the youth academy to be the best. I want everything to be the best.
Right, let's not fuck about. We want to be Man City in it. Like, let's be honest now. We're looking at them. We're like,
100%. But bro, look at what Man City do for the community. Look at what the Sheikhs do.
Not just the team. When I say that, I'm talking about the entire everything. I'm looking at them like, my God, like every single. I'm not just saying they're 11. I'm talking about the community, the state, everything you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, that's City in it. So I hear it. I hear what you're saying, bro. But...
Yeah, and I think it's the big thing I'm such an advocate for is the fact that I know for a fact these Qatari owners, whether it's Qatari, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, they will put money into the city. They will put money into making everything else better for the club, whether it be Liverpool, the entire surrounding areas of Anfield. I've been lucky to go to Anfield a couple of times. And let me tell you something, the surrounding areas around Anfield is not very nice. It's not very nice to look at.
It is dead, lad. It is dead. Let's be real out here.
No, James, I have to be diplomatic. I have to be diplomatic here. I can't use the.
I'll say it for you. I'll be the transparency if you need.
Of course, because it sounds better from an actual Liverpoolian than a Londoner saying, "Oh shit."
No, do you know what, Madge? Yeah, do you know that? Yeah, lad, speak it with chest. I'll defend you. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Are you dumb, bro?
I need to stay.
I'm decades supporting my team and that, man.
Hey, Rams, talk about the surrounding areas around Anfield the same way you spoke about Michael Owen last week. You know what I'm saying? Get it all off your chest.
Yeah, but I've tried so hard to work up this diplomacy, man. I've done a good job. I don't want to ruin it now. I don't want to ruin it.
People can watch previous episodes. We've cut through that shit. You know what I'm saying? And that we know the real.
Fair enough. People know that I've said so much shit anyway. Like James read, the surrounding areas of Liverpool is like it's the back in the 80s, if you get what I mean. Like toxic areas. It's not very nice. It's very crappy. I'm going to say that crappy. It's not very nice to live in. I kind of feel sorry for the people that live in areas. And look, there are other factors into that. There's a lot of blame to be given to certain people for letting those areas be what it is. But people like the Qataris and the Saudi Arabians, when they invest in a football club, they invest in everything. I know for a fact Saudi Arabian owners, they not only invested in Newcastle United, they invested in the city of Newcastle as well. Yeah, I know for a fact Manchester City, they invested in the city of Manchester as well. Obviously, forget the red half, many the blue half. But that's how they are. That's how they are. They want to put their money into places. And people want to take the moral high ground and say, oh, we don't need the money. I want to give you a little British government fact. State-of-the-art hospitals within London, the best ones are funded by Middle Eastern consortiums, i.e., for example, King's College Hospital, UCLH, and all the university hospitals, all funded by Middle Eastern owners because they don't, even though they're NHS, they get funded by the trust of the university. So why are we going to give all this hatred towards the Middle Eastern people when we don't want to give it the good stuff that they've done for the country? That's what I don't like.
Can I interject on the conversation? I think it's very fair that people have their alignments with, which owners that they prefer. I couldn't give two shiny shites because what you're choosing in football nowadays is a case of competing with corruption. So here's the score of what you need your owners to be. You either need your owners to be the best cheaters, the best, or to have the best connections, or to find the best loopholes. If your owners are good at one of those three things or all of those three things, then you're very promising. And people say to me, it needs to be Saudi, it needs to be state-owned, it needs to be this. Absolutely not the case. It needs to be a smart dude with a bit of money who can compete with the top teams. That's all it needs to be. An intelligent dude with the right recruitment and the right application, the right mindset. Now, these are a lot of things to ask for, but when you get an ambitious man, someone who wants to go forward, who feels they can take the club forward, let's say if someone came in right now, I don't care if they're American, I don't care if they're from the North Pole, lad, could be Father Christmas, if he's got dough and he's got brains, I'm custy, come along, I'm ready for your welcome. So I don't care where they're from, because let's be honest, corruption is in all of football. Bad things happen in all parts of the world. So the way people try and demonize Saudi, yet there's some horrible things that happen there, some fucked up shit that happens here as well. Tell you that for free. If you think it sounds over here, then you need to start reevaluating not only your history, but your current, your present. Look in America, see what happens there, see what they're doing to certain countries. So we can sit there and say Saudi's doing wrong, and you can agree with the sentiment, but then you've got to sit there and say, well, why are we supporting this, but we won't support that for the same reason while we still support this? It's contradictive logic, and that's the only thing I don't appreciate. So I sit here on the front line and say, listen, we've just been fined. All right, apparently it weren't a fine. Apparently we paid 1 million to City to not take it further. As far as I'm concerned, that's a fucking fine. Whether it's a bribey fine or something, you still paid it. So here's the score. Whether we're cheaters, we're small cheaters, but we're still cheaters. If Derby County can cheat, then they're cheaters. If they can cheat, why can't we cheat? Why can't United cheat? Why can't City, even if it's on a minuscule level?
James,
go.
Do you know why we cheat? But we're shit cheaters. People,
this is what I'm trying. This is exactly what I'm leading to. No, this is exactly what I'm leading to. People say, "Oh, Liverpool do it the right way. Oh, we are sick. It's like a virgin saying that they're a virgin, even though they've basically gone all the way. You're just trying to keep hold the image. Do you know when a girl comes out and says, "Oh no, I'm still a virgin," when she's 10
they're
deep?
pure. They're pure.
When she's 10 deep, she's 10 deep, and she's saying she's a virgin. What's that? What's this new definition of worlds that we're in right now? It makes no goddamn sense. So we've got to correlate it to the same thing.
That's the thing, James. Yeah, to be very honest with you, it's just people talking shit because you're right. Like when we were at our best, our owners were doing what they should have been doing, and they weren't Saudi, they weren't state-owned, they were Americans doing the best thing. And the thing is, that's what my biggest gripe is I don't mind the fact that they don't spend money or whatever. I like the fact that if you're not going to spend money, right, then at least have the business fucking perfect. And at one time, it was. Our club was seen as like, flipping hell, mate. Any player that goes there, boom, their recruitment is top notch. They're on it. Our scouts, everything was, do you know what I mean? It's banging. Then it turned very slowly into, like I said before, getting Arthur Mello on the last day of the fucking... That wouldn't have even been remotely, like, we ain't had a medical staff in like 7 months, bro. Like our actual club is actually rotting now. And that's now I'm like, well, hold on a second, like, the fuck is going on here?
Saint, can I add to that, yeah? I'm going to ask the question to you guys. Ever since I have a big thing about this youth academy thing, yeah, and the one of the building blocks of Liverpool football. Oh yeah. But one of
before you carry on, James, thank you for saying that, because I've been going back and forth with United fans for the past 3-4 days in regards to the Zidane Iqbal situation and just youth players in general.
Yeah, one of our best touted players. One of our most touted players in the academy, Musialowski, is going to get sold this summer.
How much they say? Did they say price point?
No, he's going back to Poland. And he's meant to be one of our best young prospects in the youth academy. That's how it works, man. And I tell you this, one of the biggest building blocks of Liverpool Football Club is the youth academy. Yet we have neglected that shit for such a long time. Ever since Steve Highway left as the main scout for us finding out good youngsters, he found like Fowler, McManaman, Gerrard, Carragher, Owen. That list alone, that's his caliber of players that he finds. Ever since he took a backseat to become a consultant, we haven't found a player ever since. Why is that? Because we don't invest in the youth academy. One of the building blocks of Liverpool Football Club. And I'm going to say this again, Flawless, the same with you. And I'm going to say about United, you lot haven't invested in your youth academy. And one of the big things about United and Liverpool Football Club is the fact that we give youth a chance. We are known to be giving chances to players that seem that they believe that they're good enough. The likes of Neville, likes of the class of '93, and our players like Fowler and Gerrard. And yet we have done nothing to make it any better.
Before I respond to that, before I'm going to respond to that, large up to everyone that's tapped in. Big up Never a Foul for the raid as well. Much appreciated. So everyone who's just joined, make sure you bump up the likes, only at 45. Over 180 of you lot in here. Let's get us up to 80 likes, people. Hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the notification bell. Big up Lewis in the chat as well. Hey, you lot are pricing Mount out. If you want us to buy Mount, got to lower the price. That's on Chelsea. Big up Surfer, big up Jez, One Rovers Vlogs, all the regulars, all the new people as well. But Drams, just in regards to the youth players as well, people just don't like the fact that the youth players are just not that good. That's just simply what it is. Like you mentioned, the class of '92, that has skewed people's viewpoint in regards to like.
And that's the same with us.
Like Manchester United getting that many youth players through at one point of that talent will probably not happen again in our lifetime. Because when you look,
I accept that. I accept that. I accept that. What I don't accept is the fact that we have all the best players that we had aren't even ours. Sterling was bought from QPR. Suso, a very good youngster from Spain, actually went on to have a very decent career. I remember knocking you guys out of the Europa League. He came from Almeria, I think. Almeria or something like that. All our best players prior to Trent Alexander-Arnold and after Steven Gerrard were bought in. And that is a big problem. That is a big problem. We're doing it now. Calvin Ramsey's one, and Ben Doak came from Celtic.
Carvalho.
Elliot.
No, our best youngsters aren't from the academy. Let's get that ultimately clear.
Except Trent.
Yeah, Trent. But, oh, come on. One out of the last 10 years. That's the standards that we're signed to uphold to. We're signed with one in the last 10 years.
Bro.
Here's my issue, right?
Yeah, go on.
But that's the same with United and ourselves, isn't it?
Fuck United. Right, we've got a better standard right now, yeah. Right. We look at our academy over the course of the last 10 years. Now, I don't even care if we do a class of 92. That youth academy is a absolute profit machine if you can do it right. If you can set up a great youth academy, the same way that City have done a youth academy, where they're selling Nemecha for 15 million. Nemecha? Who the fuck's Nemecha? And he's going for 15 million.
He's a baller. He's a baller. Plays for
He's good, isn't he?
No,
but if he never played for
that's
City,
not what he's saying. Whether he's good or not is who the fuck is he for him to be? You know, the one third.
And do you want me to tell you why we don't know him? Because he never played for City. So he's a baller who never played for City, who was shit enough to not play for City, which means they uphold the highest of standards. They win the league in the under-21s, under-22s, under-23s. They win the league in every single one. Bro, they're winning women's tournaments. We're talking about upholding the highest standards. Okay, we might not have the resources, but you know, if we used even an incy-wincy common sense, we'd know that the youth academy is the biggest opportunity, and it's about being opportunists, which FSG have not shown in their time on building that academy. Now, I'd like to hope in the long term this new AXA facility can help us. But let me tell you now, this isn't only a problem now. When I was younger, there was kids having problems with how good the academy was. Our academies are inferior, and this is not an opinion. This is not me to get a reaction. This is factual of players who have played in these themselves. This is reference. If you, in Liverpool, the common thing, you've played either for Tranmere, Everton, Liverpool, or all three. You've had trials at one or whatever. Tranmere and Everton have got better academies than us if you speak to the majority of the people who've played for Liverpool and one of the other two. One of the other two. Tranmere, I know for a fact, have better than us.
That's where Aaron Cresswell came from, didn't he?
Bro, it's not even close. They've brought in some good ballers. I don't know the current situation, but I know that in times gone by. So we need to reinforce that urgency of upping that academy, because not only can you have a potential like the class of 92 or when Highway was recruiting all these absolute amazing ballers, but then what you can get is a situation like Fabio Carvalho right now, a player who comes in for a small amount. Now, he hasn't worked out because he's not a number 8 and he's not a left winger, so we're not favouring him. But now we're going to send him somewhere like the Bundesliga, where regardless is the three outcomes, he comes back and we know he's not good enough, so we're not going to waste our time. He comes back and he's done well there, and he might not still fit in our system, so we're going to go and get 20, 30 million. Or he comes back as a great player. So here's the score. If we enhance the academy over the years, we will make more money. But that's the thing. Unless this AXA thing takes long, it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Could you do me a favor, Flores? Can you bring up One Rover Vlogs' list?
Yeah, I'll get to that. I just big up.
City.
Yeah, before I get to that, big up LFC for the double A. Said just came out of the hospital. I love watching these shows. Good to be back and see all three of these great Liverpool content creators here, especially Red Mondinho. Big up LFC for the double. Good to have you back, man.
God bless you, brother. God bless you, and thank you for giving us your presence on this show. It's always better when we get people like you in the chat giving us that good energy, man. So God bless, and I hope all is well.
James, I've got to ask you this. I have to
go for it.
Have you seen John Cena do the? Try to mimic what you did
all those years
ago.
I am a huge deal.
How you know?
How does that feel?
Talk about it in full. You know what I'm saying? For those that may not know. Not know.
So you can probably see my approach on YouTube, the way I like to be kind of promo-y. I try and drop one-liners. Sometimes I miss, but sometimes I score. Kind of like Nunes, you know what I mean? I don't like Nunes, but we've kind of got the same idea. So I am someone who appreciates the communication of the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I enjoy entertaining. So to see one of the greatest entertainers in recent WWE history even reference me as witty, that was cool. That was a cool thing. Because I used to be a WWE fan when I was younger. I'd grow up and whatnot. So for me to grow up into a content creator, starts off with the interview, ins and outs all the way through YouTube to get to now to watching John Cena saying, hey, this kid's not bad. It's great. And you know what I loved? He set up a nice little WrestleMania match between me and him. See the little age thing that he had at the end? The little Jew said, well, yeah, how about if we jump in there and I 619 his ass? Because I'll tell you now, size matters in many circumstances. In the wrestling ring, Rey Mysterio told me I can be anything. And if Logan Paul can do it, why can't I do it? So I declare right here, right now, on this show, Sarcasm City TV, you heard it here first, John Cena. You think I'm 3, you think I'm 6, you think I'm 9? It does not matter, because I will still beat you every single time when we step into that squared circle. You hear me, sir? You hear me? John Cena, watch out. Nah, but it was cool, man. It was cool. It was a sick time watching it. And, he made it funny, which which is good.
Love that. And you wanted me to get to this for One Rovers vlogs, didn't you, Rams? You said Sancho, Lavia, Bazunu, Pedro Porro, Nemecha, Trippier, Foden, Lewis, Matondo, Douglas, Luiz. The list goes on.
That's
Where
a lot
did
of
all these
players.
come
Yeah,
from?
yeah, big names. Like they have made themselves self-sustainable. The reason why they don't have to worry about net spend, they make so much money from their academy. Chelsea, they make so much money from their academy.
Yeah.
It's a massive tool if you can do it right. United actually should be appalled because they've got the resources to build their academy.
We do.
We just don't look like we've got the resources, but we need to put
because-
everything into that.
What these other teams do that we don't do is loan out these players, and then that builds up their value. That's where we mess up. And this is why I get at, because people are like, someone said in the chat, oh, we could have sold Zidane Iqbal for more. Man's 20 years old and hasn't played a senior Premier League match. He was never.
He reminds. It's like Tai Chong back in the day. Like people call it saying he was some next level.
Yeah, people
baller,
always, again, with Manchester United, it happens all the time. Anytime some youngster comes through, you know what I'm saying, of any form of level, he could just be above average. He gets hyped up to the max. And Zidane Iqbal, that happened, like I said, without him playing. Like I say, there isn't no player who's 20 years old. He's not been out on loan. That is partly on Manchester United to actually build up his feet. So why was he gonna command a big fee? He was never gonna at 20. It's not like he's 17, 18. Like we'll see 17, 18-year-olds potentially go for more money. But if you've not been out on loan and you're 20, that's probably the going rate you're gonna go to 110%. Like, that's what it is. Big up Jacob in the chat as well. Large up everyone that is tapped in. But you know what, Rams, will stay with you. Khephren Thuram, what are you telling me? You think it will happen? It won't happen?
I'm going to take a page out of Hussam's book. The only way it doesn't happen is because of the football club's incompetence.
Oh, I thought you was about to put your hair on it. That's what I was about to say. Yeah, do that shit. You know what I'm saying?
No way. I've grown this for 2 years. I am not cutting it, bro. I have spent so long growing that shit. I'm not cutting it. All that hard
I thought you was gonna. When you said a page out of Hassam's book, I fully 110% thought you said, if you don't sign for Liverpool, I will go on a live stream and shave my hair. That's what I was expecting you to say. You know what I'm saying?
No
That's what
way.
I thought you was gonna go with.
That's here to stay.
All this. Don't kill me.
That's here to stay, man. But nah, Klopp wants him. Obviously, the club actually want him. But most importantly, he wants us. He wants to join us. And I think there have been a little bit of whispers here and there that his dad's been telling him to move to Liverpool. It'll be the best move out of every single club that's available, better than PSG, everything like that. And I say it again, if we don't get this done, I am seriously looking at Jurgen Klopp and FSG.
Okay.
Why have we not got this done? Everything's pointed for us to get him. Everything's in our area of the court. Because if Nice wants to drag it out as much as possible, I fully think that Khephren Thuram will be like, no, I'm going to leave. I'm going to force my way out. And then they have no choice of letting him go. Okay. So for me, I see it going to us. And if we don't do it, it is the biggest embarrassment in the history of football transfers.
Nah, we only signed Darwin Núñez 12 months ago. Hey, can I ask a question?
This guy's timing is ridiculous.
No Can I ask one question? Wait there. What was the topic that we were just on? I'm sorry. I got caught.
I was going to go through Khephren Thuram, but
I was only going to mention about. Okay, so can I ask you something, Rams? So how about this? If you think about the situation at the moment regarding all that stuff with Thuram. Okay, where did we finish last season? 5th, correct?
Yeah.
So if Thuram was to come in and be the next midfielder to take us from 5th to 1st, because think about it, when we neglected the right here right now with Núñez, which is clearly what we've done because every Liverpool fan and their nan is saying that he's ready for the future, just not right now. So if we neglected it then and you saw what it did, if we get Thuram and he's not ready right now, which I would suggest there's a huge possibility he isn't because he still looks very raw in many areas, then I also think it's likely he's going to be our only other midfielder. And therefore, for that reason, I don't want him, to be honest. Like, it's one of those things where if he's going to be one of 2 more midfielders, then fine. But if he's going to be one of the only other midfielders we sign, it's not ready yet.
Can I ask you then, James? Yeah, the thing, right? And looking at the state of our midfield, yeah, and team, what one addition takes us from where we are now 2 first.
Joshua Kimmich.
Okay. I'll tell you this. That takes more than one more midfielder.
Thank you.
So Messi is a great player. Messi in Accrington Stanley is not a great player.
This is my
Joshua
point.
Kimmich.
My Wi-Fi cut out there, boys.
You hit the nail on the head. It takes more than one player. So whoever they try and package up, it's still not good enough. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, but like James said, I do think that whoever that next person is going to be the only addition, especially in midfield, 100%.
Do you know? I said
now
this
that's
on,
where my problem comes.
I said this on JJ's channel yesterday. Big up JJ. My main worry is in the midfield. I think people are very, very confident about our centre backs, and I am not. I am not confident.
Oh no, I'm
about
not either.
defense.
You're mad.
No. I've already said that we need to set. I've already said from time.
I think people are really sleeping on the defense. I don't think we need some Mickey van der Ven. Look, I think he's an all right player, but from what I've seen of him, not convinced at all. I am not convinced. And him to come in and play as that left centre back, for me, Tottenham, you could take him. You could take him. If we were a big club, we would have got McAllister, Thuram done, a big daddy boy midfielder, and a decent centre back like Ignacio, or for me, my personal favourite, Schlotterbeck. That's what you call a big club doing their business, trying to do a stage of rebuild.
I've already said this. We're not a big club, G. Like we're a club that have had big. We're a club that have had big high moments, but we don't move. We don't move like a big club, bro. Like,
bro, we're Mr. Krabs FC. We're Mr. Krabs FC, man.
What say there, Rams, is that we are a great boxer, but we've got a terrible promoter. And we're not getting any of the big fights, and it's just one of those things.
I like that analogy.
It's on repeated thing.
That's us, bro. That's us.
The crest holds weight, but imagine, such a big establishment. I don't know if you want to say the UFC offered you a contract, but they said, but we don't know if you're good or not, so we're actually not going to pay you the same as these other fighters. So yeah. It's not efficient. You need to be efficient. FSG are not efficient. They are not competitors. They have no ambition to get better. There's a reason why they wanted the Super League. They wanted the Super League because it maximizes their accounts where there's no risk. They don't like risk. Why would they go and spend 100 million on Jude Bellingham when, let's say that the prize for winning the Prem is 150 mil, yeah? You spend 100 mil on Bellingham, 20 mil on add-ons, another 20 to 30 mil on wages. You've now spent all of your winnings from the Premier League on Bellingham. And if you buy Bellingham, there's still no guarantee of winning a Premier League. So the fact that they're not willing to take the risk shows the minimum reward that they're looking to achieve, because no risk, no reward, my friends. That's the way it is in the modern day. So the second you get owners who can't compete, that is the second you've got to look at changes. But there's so many things, even, people think it's just the money we have a problem with. I have a problem with the fact they tried to take away the heritage of football. I have a problem with the fact that they only said sorry when they got caught, not because they actually meant it. I had a problem when they tried to hide the ticket prices. I had a problem when they tried to... when they did do the Liverpool thing where they claim the Liverpool words or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Like all these things, bro.
Don't forget following staff as well.
Brought up as an all-round collective analysis when it comes to analysing their time here. It's just...
And James, I'm gonna ask something, yeah, because obviously you're a native Liverpudlian, and I want to big up my boy Tom. We were talking about the new main stand renovation that they did. Didn't they make a promise that they'll put money into the outlying area of the main stand, or put money into that sort of area of the surrounding area of Anfield?
They are very precise with their words. Now they work like politicians, so they do it very well. If they use your words precisely, if you use your words precisely, then there's things that can't come and bite you back in the future. So you can say, didn't you say this? No, actually, I meant to say this. They leave a lot of things in the open. So yes, they have mentions about renovations around the stadium, but the specifics of those renovations weren't mentioned. So it could just be making a new hot dog stand, you know what I mean? So it doesn't really, there's no analysis on what it could be, how much improvement is made. So they're very precise. It's like me saying, I am going to improve the channel, and I get you 5 subscribers over the course of the next 5 years. It's like, okay, I've improved the channel, but by what cost? You know what I mean? If you've been paying me however much a show and I've got you 5 subscribers in 5 years, not a great return of investment. The same way that they can come out and say they can renovate the stadium all they want, they are insincere, because they have to be. Because if they were truthful about their business, every Liverpool fan would be outside that stadium, bro. It's not
James,
a case.
I'm going to take
indoctrination.
I'm going to take a page out of Saint books. They are dickheads.
Proper
That's
dickheads.
I want to say that bad time. Dickheads, bro.
Dickheads.
Big facts, bro. Facts. Like,
He's getting out on a t-shirt with John W. Henry's head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard you say that. But James, you mentioned there in regards to, I've heard you mention it a couple of times when you spoke about Nunez and you spoke about Khephren, Thuram, and also their players for the future. So correct me here if I'm wrong, but I'm asking the question. Would you prefer to see Liverpool go for more players for now? So like more established where you go, not only do they improve the first team, but they improve the first team significantly right now, rather than a Nunez, rather than a Khephren, Thuram, etc. A Bellingham, which I'm going to get your thoughts on shortly.
I feel you. Right, here's my view. I don't care whether it's big names or small names, but here's my analysis. We've won from one Premier League in 30 years, right? So the approach of taking names that are about to become world class but aren't quite world class yet, it's worked to a degree, but overall it hasn't worked. If you want to be a big club, I would like to see an increase in volume of trophies when it comes to one Premier League in 30 years. So the approach of bringing in meaty names or not quite ready names hasn't worked based on that case study. So I would suggest making a change, and maybe it'll now be a good time when I've got people coming to me saying, "Oh, James, but our successes came without the big names." Well, we've never really tried the big names to know if that's going to bring us significant success. But we have seen case studies from other teams where it does usually work out if you get those biggest. Look at Casemiro, the way he improved Man United this season. One man, bro. One man. He got you competing in all competitions. He got you in the league significantly improved. This is what a big name does. It's not a question. If you're bringing in Nunez and that's a question, that means there's no guarantee. And that's a big, big issue. The same way that is a big, big issue if Thuram is no guarantee. Because now you've got a new midfielder who's coming in who might get you fourth. But that's not our ambition. So where's the standard?
Where does McAllister, before you go around, where does McAllister fall in that? Do you like McAllister deal or are you a fan of him? Because we haven't spoken at all on any of this.
I like to use the Messi analogy with him. It's like by himself, he's a good player, but to work in our team, he needs good players around him.
Okay, so you reckon he'll level up, but okay, that's fair. Go on, Ram.
The only reason why I'm really good about that McAllister thing is that him and Thiago can rotate, and that means Thiago his miss won't be as bad as what it was in the previous seasons, because we missed him loads in last season, the previous season before that, and all the times he has been injured.
You know what? Yeah, listen, and it hurts me to say this, yeah. Because this is my team and I love my team. You get me? Like, and regardless of it's do you know what I mean? It's like having an ugly baby in it. It's still gonna be, you know what I mean? It's still gonna love it.
Wow. Oh, Saint, man.
But it is what it is.
Nah, but he's right though. You know what I mean?
He is right. You're just like,
I've never seen an ugly baby, so I can't.
Oh no, I've seen fuck ugly babies, lad. I've seen fuck ugly babies in my family.
I'm blessed.
Lad, my family's got fuck ugly babies, bro. I'm seeing my nephews and I'm thinking, geez, you've got tough times ahead.
You better be good at the ducks, man. But no,
yeah. Let's hope you have a nice hairline.
So like, I love him, but I can see my club doing something as fucking stupid as selling Thiago. 100%.
What makes you say that?
Because we're dumb. That's why, because we're fucking stupid.
We're dickheads. That's
why we are actual dickheads, bro. The way we run, you're not listening. The way my club is run is actually making me scared. You might not looking at the 11 and no, I'm actually looking at the crux of. I'm like, raw, like, you know who would be one of the best, and I'm one of the fewest people that'll say this. Fuck all of these man. McAllister and Thuram and Bellingham, fuck all of them. Do you know what would make me be the happiest? What acquisition would make me be the fucking happiest?
New owners.
Oh, no.
New owners aside.
Okay.
Khephren.
A new fucking assistant fucking coach, bro. That brought some new fucking life into the way we fucking play. Because
wait there. Bro, Saint, I respect you, G. Chill.
Brother, let's chat,
Relax.
bro. Let's
All
chat.
right, let's conversation. Before we get into this, hold up, because this is gonna be good. Mary, my one. Hey, everyone who's locked in currently right now, 175 of you lot in the building, over 175, only at 64 likes. Like check 1212. Let's bump up them likes, get us up to 90 likes, people. Make sure you do so. Pay the tax when you enter the city of Sarcasm. Hit the subscribe button as
Come
well,
on, man.
people. We're at
Hit that like button.
7,064. We're looking for 6 more people. Get us to we're looking for 6 more subscribers. Get us to 7,070 people. Hit that subscribe button.
Let's get
Hit
that
the
straight away,
notification
people.
bell.
Come
Make sure
on.
you subscribe to James's channel as well. Somebody, one of the mods, please put his channel in the chat, please. One of the mods can do that. Thank you very much. But yeah, go on, Saint. Floor's yours.
Bro, I be very honest.
You mentioned the book. You mentioned the book, Saint. I wanted to respond to that point.
I didn't mention the book.
Oh, you didn't mention the book. Why the assistant manager?
I never. It's funny. The
Are we
book
talking
may
about
have
the
something to do with it, but I never mentioned the book. Like, I just said the
We
assistant
can talk about the book.
manager.
Why?
Because James, I'm be honest with you, yeah. I do not like watching us play football anymore. The state of our play in terms of the patterns of play is shocking. Like, we have very good players, brilliantly like technical players playing. If we was to say, you can't cross the ball for 20 minutes in the game, like no crossings allowed, we'd be fucked, bro. We'd be fucking scratching our heads. There's no off the ball movement. There's like some of the times when I see I'm like, oh my god, this is beautiful. Why don't we play like this? And then we just
like when you played Leeds, for example, like when you beat Leeds. The
bro,
game when you beat Leeds like 5 or 6-0 or
5-0, brother.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming, I was like, yo, we actually
yes, you played ball.
It's just,
Leeds.
and the thing is,
Leeds.
Exactly, but it's not even like the fact that we were shit for a long time this season, which we were. It's the fucking manner. It's the state of play. Like, and I'm like, hold on a second. If Ferguson, who's one of the best managers, and I rate Klopp, it's not a Klopp thing. Klopp doing what he's doing, but sometimes you need someone else to come in with a little bit of like, because the thing with me is if you've got owners, yeah, that don't spend money, yeah, and Klopp, for me, a lot of people have said that Klopp knows he knows exactly the arrangement in which he's in. Klopp isn't there like, oh, raw, swear that. Like, he knows that, listen, there isn't money to be spent. These men ain't going to go into their pockets and spend money. So if you're in that position, right, and you know that your owners aren't willing to spend money, yet you go in and you play in a certain way, which has been successful, but in order for that type of way to carry on, the success in which that style needs is an injection of new blood, new talent. Do you know what I mean? Younger, you're not going to get that. But you carry on playing the same way, bro, you're going to have to try and change it up. You know, them ones there, and have someone who come in and be like, right, let's see what we've got and let's try and, that's my thing. Go on, Hammers.
My brother. Can I raise one thing?
No, go to.
It's one of those things you just mentioned to me about an assistant manager. Now, I have to be fair in my balance of arguments. I'm not one of those where if I use contradictive logic, I would appreciate to be called out on my contradictive logic. So the same way that I don't think Jurgen Klopp has full control over transfers. So when people blame Klopp for transfers, I have an issue with that. Not because I'm a Jurgen Klopp fanboy, it's because I don't think he has control over them the same way Brendan Rodgers isn't, right? I think the final say goes to FSG. We can talk about that in a different debate. So the same way I won't blame Klopp for transfers is the exact same way. I will blame FSG for transfers because it's not fault. Is the exact same way I will blame Jurgen Klopp for Pep Lijnders still being at the helm, because he is the decision maker, he is the head figure. So if we've got a problem with Pep Lijnders, we therefore have a problem with Jurgen Klopp, as he is the guy who has now chosen this gentleman as the assistant manager. The same way I've got a problem with the owners who aren't giving a great manager the funds that he needs. So I only wanted to bring that up, but my second point was only simply going to be, Pep Lijnders. Can you confirm the year that he joined the football club?
2017.
2017.
Yeah,
I think, yeah.
That was way before what I even thought.
No,
so you're telling me in a period where we've won a Champions League, a Premier League, and got some of the highest points tallies ever, because I don't care about good football. I care about efficient football. I don't care about silky passes, 1-2s. I care about efficiency. We didn't play 1-2 football in the season. We got 99 points.
2018, sorry.
2018. I actually think before we played more chaotic with Buvac. Was it Buvac who was our Buvac? I think we played more chaotic. It was exciting. It was 4 goals scored in from our end, but we'd still concede 2 or 3. The difference when Pep Linders came in, the goals decreased to 1 or 2. But the goals that we were conceding also decreased. Now, recently, that's not been the case, and that's why I go back to the investments. I think you've got numerous other problems before you go Pep Linders. And if Pep Linders is a problem, then Jurgen Klopp is also a problem.
James, do you know where I challenge you on that?
Go, sir.
Even in the latter 6 months of Buvac, I'll tell you this, we had a very, very, very good defensive record because of Virgil van Dijk. So you could argue that once Virgil van Dijk came in, the entire stratosphere of the defense completely changed. And because I remember I think in the last 10 or 15 games of the season, we had the best defensive record out of any other team in the Premier League.
Yeah, you're right.
Since he came.
Yeah,
so you could argue it wasn't just Pep Linders. It was made a big fact.
Never said that it was just Pep Linders. I'm just simply saying there is nothing to say that he has been in a detriment, considering he came and we were playing some of our best football.
Oh, he just went. I think,
and I don't say he's been a detriment. Like
if you want him gone, and this fucking assistant manager needs to go, I would consider somebody to be a detriment with that energy.
No, but that's the thing. That's exactly that's the way of thinking in which I want to challenge. I don't think he's a detriment. I don't at all. And I'm not sitting here saying that he's been. I salute what he's done. But you see, if you're on the motorway, and you're looking in the rear view continuously, what the fuck's gonna happen to you eventually?
Yeah, you're gonna crash.
It's got nothing to do with what you've done. I look at the best. I'm looking at where I want my club to get to. And I'm looking at Ferguson, and I'm looking at, like, this guy was the best.
What's the problems that Linders has caused for you to bring his name into the conversation is what I'm asking. What's the problem he's done? What's the problem that Linders has caused?
The problem I've seen is because the patterns of play at a time in when even Stevie Wonder would have seen. And yes, I know it goes to FSG, and I know that they're not investing, but we could see, like, this is getting a bit stale. Like, we need to try and change something. We have changed nothing. At our most crucial time, you brought the book. I'll bring the book in because I don't really have a problem with the book.
You really shouldn't bring that in. I'll destroy that point immediately.
I don't have a problem with the book, but why is there PR around? Why is that the focus at a time when clearly we are the team, and the patterns of play and changing? You can't. It's this season seems like we've been trying to chase the manner we were playing in 2019 with the same fucking players. That's why I'm like, bro, it's not a case that you're bad. I just think we need something fresh.
You're saying change.
new ideas.
How do you get change?
New ideas. That's
how do you get change.
So if I was going to expand on Saint's
point, whoa! How do you get change?
How do you get change?
Yes.
If you can't change the players, then change the system.
I see what you're saying. So if you play a bunch of 10-year-olds and you give them Pep Guardiola, they're now going to be able to compete with some of the best teams in the country just because they've got Pep Guardiola? Or are they going to struggle because they're 10? Because they're not capable physically and all these things? Now, I raise these points because when you attribute last season's derailments, you have to attribute it mostly to the owners for setting out the squad the way they did, but then to the players, because it didn't matter if you play Virgil van Dijk in a 3 at the back or a 2 at the back, he was still going to play bad.
How long have we played in a high line?
Why is the high line such a problem? Because I swear 12 months prior we were getting the most offsides in the league, and actually we had a good defensive record the season before.
And then this is what I'm saying. But if you are the assistant manager and you can't see the
so we're in a problem 12. Saints, wait there. 1 sec. We're doing the same pose. Let's just hold a second. We're going to hammer time moment. I'm
getting flashbacks of the show you used to do, bro.
No, the show's coming back to us. We'll speak after. Did you see the hammer time moment there, Flawless? You like this?
You did, man. Hey, I'm just watching, enjoying this. This is good, man. I'm learning. This is good.
I'm just hoping there's nothing.
It's always going to be good because you're getting two passionate people talking about ultimately what they want for
the end of the day. It's find the solution.
You know, that's why when you said detriment, and I stopped you. I wanted to stop you and be like, this is not.
No, I feel you're mentioning a high line that 12 months previous was actually very, very efficient and very good for our attack and play. It weren't the system that failed eventually. It was the players that failed. Now I hear what you're saying. Now accommodate.
It's how are you in the position that you're in and not being able to see that, not being able to transition. You are on the money. But my problem is that you're not a YouTuber, bro. You're not some fat guy sitting on the couch, bro. You are paid handsomely. You're a very high person in how do you know what I'm saying? Like, how did it ever get to the position where you're now? No, because it worked 12 months, we're still going to use it. Well, you should be seeing, you know what? I know it worked 12 months, but listen, the state in which Van Dijk is now and the state in which is going on.
I'm saying that it wouldn't have mattered because the players were underperforming anyway. So the reason why I referenced the 10-year-olds is because it doesn't matter how you get them to play the 10, they still need time to compete in a men's game. The same way if you get finished legends like Steven Gerrard,
you're saying the quality of the players overall, despite any change, they're not good enough for where Liverpool want to go.
Exactly.
If I was to be devil's advocate, Saint makes a good point when it comes to the fact of we talk about. I think for myself, I'm speaking for myself. The GOAT manager, even though I don't like saying is Alex Ferguson. And one of the best things about Ferguson was that he could reinvent himself because he had multiple people giving him multiple ideas. Like the 99 team, he had Steve McLaren. The 2006 team, he had Carlos Queiroz. And then I think he had Rene Mullerstein at some point. And I can't remember.
He still had periods where he didn't win. He still had periods where he didn't win. And Bill Shankly didn't win for 7 years. And he kept hold of his players for too long. And it got to a point where he had to sell some of those, man. Because it got to a point where he was too loyal to them.
But Alex Ferguson's thing, when he was building on success, do you know, when he's changing these, man, he's had to. It's not a case of
eventually he did that, but not at first.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying. But bro, like, I don't smoke crack because I now know that crack is bad, isn't it? I've seen, you get it. Like I've seen from a man's downfall that that's what it is. I don't smoke spice because I'm like, swear down, that's what it's doing to man. So, if you've seen, then why?
I get both sides because saying what you're saying is be proactive, even if it was successful 12 months ago or 18 months ago.
Because you're not
saying.
No, I was at Linda's fault.
Whereas James, owners that are going to give you.
I was at Linda's fault. No, get on this. Get on this. Wait there. I was at Linda's fault that Nunes was missing all those one-on-ones last season. I was at Linda's fault.
But James, he's not saying it's his fault.
Yeah, but that's, you know what I mean. That's not. I'm not saying that's his fault. You know what you're doing, James. I'm not saying.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm saying that the system he was using would have worked. It would have got us points. It would have been enough to get top 4 if the players done their job. That's the point I'm getting to. If the system weren't the problem, the players was the problem, and the lack of investment is what would have took us away from the league eventually anyway. We've had the same team for 4 years, so it was going to get to a point where we're competing for top 4, and it weren't the system that didn't get us top 4. It was the players who were starting.
James, let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question. Say you did, James, say you did have play. So say Liverpool, you improved in the last window, or improved this window. Would you like to then see change, or are you happy with Klopp and Pep Linders to go with similar tactics and a similar approach?
As far as I'm concerned,
would you like to see a switch?
As far as I'm concerned, when I've seen the club get backed, I've seen Klopp's way work. So it's like, for instance, right?
Okay, first.
For instance, right, I'm a Christian, so my obligation as a Christian is to not follow my ways, it's to follow God's ways. So that's the way I think of life. That's how a lot of people will view it. So the same way that me as a football man, I have seen examples where, for instance, Jurgen Klopp, when he has his ways and he uses his ways, it works out. And when you give him the resources he needs, it works out. They're the case studies I've seen from Dortmund and thinking. And I also don't believe anyone else can come in, assistant manager or whatever, and dramatically enhance the situation that we're in because of our crop of owners. So that's what we've got to analyse, is that we're doing the best with very, very little. And I don't think that Pep Linders should get the sole blame for individual players making mistakes when they're not the ones making the decision on who they're bringing in.
The thing is, and I hear where he's coming from. My thing is, regardless of whatever happened that season, had we have got the quadruple, we didn't get the quadruple, those players were never going to get back to those heights. They weren't. They weren't, bro. You're asking me to push 100 kg and then do it again straight away. Like, it's not going to work, bro. Like, use your
never know, say.
sense. Like,
never know.
You never know.
A little bit of persistence.
Brother, I've been trying to do it and coming up short. And you know what I was there? This is like my knife set. 100 kg.
From experience, bro.
It's a madness. You should have known that we were, bro. So that's all I'm thinking is you can't. I don't know, man. Just a little bit of foresight. It's like, brother, like.
Yeah, you're saying to be a little bit more
with...
proactive in terms of problems potentially being on the horizon, and that's what the better managers do. Obviously, you can't always get it right, but you're saying switch it up and change it just in case these things happen. Where James is saying,
Klopp done to get more players?
Yeah, you're saying look at the players. Now, I hear both sides. I do hear both sides. You
I
should
agree
have
with what Saint's saying. The part I disagree with is putting Linders at the top or up there with one of the big blames, because obviously the owners, I'm sure, is Nick's numero uno. You know what I mean? In terms of
but I think James, what we're saying is that we're looking at it from a proactive sort of perspective, in the sense of, given the history of football, normally things have its cycle, philosophies have its way, and styles of play have its cycle. And we're thinking proactively, at some point, this style of play just will become obsolete. And what are we going to do from there? And from myself, I'm speaking for myself, I don't want Klopp to go. So who else is there to help Klopp find a new way?
Can I repeat one thing?
The manager.
Can I repeat one thing?
Well, you've literally just said how I had got to the way.
I read you, bro.
And how you was talking, I could hear like music in the background and all of that shit. It was very, very eloquent. Like, and at no point was it fuck Pep Linders, like I hate this motherfucker, or none of that. You know that one there. It was very much how rap was.
But people that have that point of view need serious psychiatric evaluation. I'm just saying. People that say fuck Pep Linders and he's the sole reason need serious psychiatric evaluation.
I think people like scapegoating because Liverpool have had success and have had success at the highest level. A lot of Liverpool fans like Klopp, like the players. So when things go wrong, they don't want to criticize them.
Can I just intercept one more thing?
Just one quick thing. The last thing. It's a bit simpler than that. These people are just not man enough to say that Jurgen Klopp is wrong.
First?
That's how I see it.
That's fair enough.
I love Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp, like the way I see football, you could ask Saint this. Jurgen Klopp influenced the way I see football. But I'm still man enough to say, dude, you got it wrong. What are you doing? You're like an absolute idiot.
Do you know what I think? We're making a mistake, and I don't want us to ever get turned on Klopp for the wrong reasons, right? So changing the system, I don't think is the number one problem right now, because again, it's worked in recent times. I think for instance, Floyd Mayweather, right? You knew what Floyd Mayweather was going to do, correct? Facts. You knew what he was going to do. He was going to slip your punches, and he was going to try and counter at any given opportunity. Now, no matter how much footage you watched, whether he was 45-0 and you had 45 fights, 46-0, 46 fights, 40, so all the way to 50, it did not matter, because he had too many superior skills to you. The same way, you know what City are going to do? They're going to ping it round you. They're going to interchange. They're going to do these things, but you're not going to stop them because they're too damn good. So that's the point I'm raising. We don't want to put too much emphasis on system, because if we're putting too much emphasis on system, then that means we've got crap players. If you've got good players, then you can rely less on system. It doesn't mean you don't have a system, but I'm saying that if you've got good players.
I like the fact that you use both City and Mayweather as analogies, because there's two people, even though like Mayweather's a prime example. He's my favorite fighter of all time, and we've seen him make adjustments. But you all know this because you watch boxing as well. The difference between Money Mayweather and Pretty Boy Floyd, and how he altered in between those two. For those that don't know, who think Mayweather would go watch Pretty Boy Floyd when he was at the lower weights, and he'd stand in the pocket and he'd trade more. And that's what it is with City. We've seen Pep make a change, because this new thing that he's doing now that I've never seen before with the back four, where he's playing no fullbacks, his 4 centre backs. John Stones is inverting, and they're playing like. So we've seen him.
I don't see
the same as well.
Doing something like that. You don't see him
changing that much, but I hear your point, though, James.
No, but
you need quality players. No matter what system you're playing, you need talent.
No, it doesn't matter what system. If people can't compete with us on an intensity standpoint, then what can they do?
The reason
if you know what we're going to do, but if we're too good, then it doesn't matter.
I have a lot of these like ill feeling towards Klopp and Pep, because the system that they play and the way they play football is one of the most I like using this word, and Flawless calls me for it. It's the most malleable form of football. It can change a different personality. It has so many different facets. You could play something completely different, but it's still the same family. And I feel as though those guys just don't want to do it, because they feel as though their way is the best way and it will only get us wins, and then nothing else would ever do that. That's why I have a problem with both Klopp and Linders in that perspective, because the way they play, you could do whatever the hell you want to, and at some point you will get a win.
My thing, and that's what I'm saying. It's the movement. It's the type of. It's like, bro. Like, I'm gonna be very honest with you. The patterns of play are very, very, very boring and basic. And that's why a lot of the times we're watching, like, we know we ain't scoring. Like, regardless of like, there's no. It's just a mad thing, but we've got like I think if we was be able to change it, and I'm the same with you, James. I don't give a fuck about slick football, bro. Like, but sometimes it's needed, especially if you ain't got the man who can do the intensity thing. Do you know, like that? Like maybe
who's going to play? Yeah. So let's say if the manager's agreed with you, right? Saint, you're correct. We need to make a difference in approach. We're going to play this way, right? What difference was you going to expect? Was you going to expect a significant difference? Because I know when they maintained their approach, because when I saw the change,
I wouldn't have cared if we got fifth playing a different way, my guy. I can't come in fifth trying to play the same fucking way.
So when we got fifth because we got Gakpo too late. We got fifth because we bought a like for like for Salah, a volume merchant. That's why we got fifth, and that is a transfer problem, one that I'm happy to debate on. I don't think should fully be attributed to Klopp, as I don't believe he has the final say. If he doesn't have the final say and he got Gakpo late, and that was when we went on that win streak.
How do you know you don't have the final say, James?
Okay, I'll give you two references that prove he doesn't have the final say. So in terms of transfer business, the Mo Salah thing. Now, although this is an example where it would have went wrong, it's still an example where he didn't have 100% say. So we didn't want Mo Salah, we got Mo Salah. There's one example. If you want an actual visual case study, then you can look at as recent as James Milner. Klopp wanted to keep James Milner. The club didn't. Therefore, Milner went. There are two examples where the club overrided Klopp's decision. So if they overrided his decisions in those sense, what other decisions did they override that we don't know about?
Can I ask you something? In both of those situations, do you think Klopp was right?
Absolutely nada, right? But it's not the point whether he was right or wrong. The point is he doesn't have 100% control, which is the question.
I think it very much is like whether he's right or wrong. I've often said about Klopp,
bro, that would be in crack business, you know what I mean? Not take like obviously in hindsight, not taking Salah wild. But that's why he shouldn't have 100% control. I'm just telling you he doesn't. No. I'm just telling you he doesn't have 100% control. You asked me how do I know? That's how I know.
I get you.
So when they get Nunes,
I've said this, yeah, and like it's only been me and Flawless on the show, and I've said it. So like now I've got next Liverpool, man. Let me see if you understand the analogy. I actually put it on before I spark my joint so you can actually see me. All right, hear me, yeah. I see Klopp, yeah. This is the very analogy I use. I see Klopp as like your uncle, or like, you see that uncle that's like fucking, or like your granddad or something. That's like a fucking genius, bro. Like, he's honestly, yeah, throw numbers at him, bam, he knows it. He's a fucking top don, like, but you don't want that cunt cooking your meals. You don't want that cunt driving you to school. Like,
he's
do you know what I mean? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
But that lane, yeah, brother, it's Rain Man. He's on the next level. Do you know them ones there? That's
like me.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, for me, that's how I see him. I don't want man doing up my fucking recruitment. I'll be honest with you, because I don't.
Neither do I.
But I do.
We now know that he doesn't have 100% control.
Yeah, I hear that.
We now know that he hasn't got 100% control. Nunes. Wait there. Let me just lead to one final point because I was about to land. So when we get Nunes instead of Gakpo and we get Gakpo too late in January, we're giving ourselves a huge detriment because that very same system began to work a lot more efficiently after January when we went and won 7-8 games in a row. So, and we ended up only missing out from what was 10, 11 points to what was now a 5-point gap. So all I'm suggesting, if the owners, we've accepted and agreed that Jurgen Klopp doesn't have full 100% control on transfers, that's the owners, that's the board of directors. Therefore, when they got Nunes and not Gakpo, that's an ownership issue. When they got Arthur and no one else, that's an ownership issue. And yes, it will contribute to how the team plays efficiently. Yes, it will have problems with inconsistency. Yes, when you neglect the squad depth and you get injuries, you're fucked. So that's why things went better after January, because it weren't the system, it was the players.
Can I put something in? I think you're right, but what if since then they've actually been giving Jurgen Klopp a little bit more power and more say in the transfer? Nunes said. 'Cause I think Nunes
Ever since Michael Edwards left.
And that's why Michael Edwards, Julian Ward, these men are like, bro, you got to look at something. How can a man come into both of these guys are not spending like a year in their post? Do you know what I'm saying? So maybe I definitely think that Darwin Nunes was a Klopp acquisition.
Get on this. I think Jurgen Klopp gave the green light for that signing because it was one of the options that he could get. But imagine if he could get a Gakpo as well in the summer. Now he can realise, right, this Darwin kid's not quite ready. Let me play Gakpo instead. The same thing he did after January.
This is my thing: is how the fuck do you go for Darwin over Gakpo? I don't mind you getting Darwin, but how do you go for Darwin over Gakpo?
Availability is a huge thing. Your greatest ability in football is availability, especially in a transfer window. So if that deal was just more ready, it was more ready. And it's because the club weren't identifying a Gakpo type profile at that point because of the Firmino situation.
Or a midfielder at that point. You know them ones there. So
bro, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I'm just simply saying we can't attribute as much of this to Klopp as possible. And I agree. I wouldn't give him the control over recruitment based on the two case. I wouldn't have wanted to keep James Milner. I also wouldn't have. I'm glad that
I was being a cunt when I said it.
You're right. No, you're right. But the point is he doesn't have 100% control. So now if we do get someone with more efficient investing or precise scouting, then imagine that combination works beautifully in my opinion. So that's the only reason why I brought it up.
That's fair. Hey, large up everyone that's locked in. I know you lot are enjoying the show. Big up KLFC, says Elite Panel. Big up people saying Sarcasm City pop into that. You already know, you know what I'm saying? Always. And Liverpool fancy put this together in particular for you lot to show I'm non-biased.
Now we'll have to do this more regularly. We'll have to start doing more.
We're moving like Generation X right now, bro.
Hey,
this is insane.
James, anytime you are platform to talk, you already know, man. Just send me a message and it gets done. You already know.
Do you do the show weekly?
Yeah, weekly every Tuesday. Every time it's normally midnight.
I'll start pushing to make.
I think the first time we did like a group thing was, it was 5-2, wasn't it?
Was it 5-2? Yeah, because I think you asked because you asked for the link. You was like, let's talk about it. So I was like, all right, because there was barely any Liverpool fans around. So I was like, I respected you after that. You know what I'm saying? You was like, yeah, I wanted to. So I'm like, all right, come on and talk about it.
That's where I was. James, if you want to watch where I was at my worst, I was like, sell every single fucking player in that team. I was done. My head was fucking gone. Head was gone. Saint was like, Saint was like, bro, this is not Ram. This is not the Ram that I know. This is not the Ram that I was like, literally, sell everyone bar Alisson. Literally, that's it.
This is what you were saying. But large everyone that's still tapped in, over 160 of you lot in here, only at 93 likes. Girls up to 100 likes. Hit the subscribe button. Continue to get your questions in. Just please keep them Manchester United or Liverpool related. But obviously the panelists are here. There's 4 of us that all going back and forth. So if you super chat, I'll make sure I get to your question or your comment. I'm starring all the best questions as well. But because we've not spoken for a minute, James, I want to get your thoughts on it as well. Because Jude Bellingham, obviously your club was heavily linked to him, You know what I'm saying? Certain content creators lost their hair betting on Jude Bellingham coming to Liverpool, and it didn't indeed happen. And I don't know I didn't speak to you on it, but many say again what you say, Rams.
That was low, flawless.
How was it low? That's what happened. You know what I'm saying? It was the video is still there. Man jumped out the window on Battle of the North. Nobody goaded him into it. He was like, Jude Bellingham's coming Liverpool. I'm like, why? What makes you so confident? Like you are inside sources. Liverpool are giving Jude Bellingham's dad a job. All this type of thing. What happened at the World Cup with him and Henderson? Convinced. And I'm like, all right. And he's like, all right, I'm so confident. I'll shave my hair off if it doesn't happen. Now man's bald. Like that's on him. I didn't tell him to do. If you listen to watch the actual video, I try and save man. I say, don't do that. And Matisse goes, nah, let him do it. Go watch the clip. You hear Matisse say that. I say, nah, don't do that, man. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. Matisse goes, nah, let him do it. And he jumped out the window. But anyway, confident Jude Bellingham was going to Liverpool. It didn't happen. So what's your thoughts? Like, did you want Jude Bellingham? Were you convinced? Do you blame FSG for it not happening? Do you put that on Klopp, etc., etc.?
I think you understand me stance on the transfer, so I wouldn't attribute it to Klopp too much. But Bellingham was one of those where I kind of understood from get-go because he was linked with us about 18 months before he ended up joining Real Madrid. And that was where the link grew, and it became more enhanced over time. And I just said to people, be very, very careful, because Flawless, in fact, your streams with Rants have helped me out analyze this over the years. But just the things, what I like about you and Rants when you do your shows, you look at it from a different perspective. You do this on this channel as well, which is great, and it's why the content's fantastic. It's thought-provoking, and it's in a sense of, okay, let's look at these owners from a less angelic light, because they're not so angelic when you look into them so much. And when you analyze their intentions and you see someone who stabbed you in the back before, you have to analyze the intention of a man to know if he could do that again. And that's why I analyze our owners and think there's a lot of things that you just don't do right. But regarding the Bellingham situation, I do believe there was interest, and I actually do believe there was points where Bellingham wanted to join Liverpool. I actually do believe so, just based on things that I heard and these things. But that never means anything. And I said back in January, I also said back at the start of last season, what is today's news is not tomorrow's news. I saw Nabil Fekir literally lifting a Liverpool shirt, and he never ended up getting over the line. So I'm simply raising that point because, you know, what can be 1 hour's news is not the next hour's news. The guy was literally a Liverpool player, never ends up playing in the Liverpool shirt. So I'm only raising this. Maybe there was a point where his dad was like, you know what, Liverpool could be good if they get Champions League, or maybe Liverpool could be good because of this. But there's multiple factors. First and foremost, we didn't want to pay the money that Real Madrid was willing to pay. So that's one factor, because that means we wouldn't have had as much for other positions, which we knew we needed to strengthen in. And then also, I think the top 4 that we missed out on because of FSG's lack of spending, in my opinion. Because again, imagine if we did have Gakpo earlier and we saw the difference he made when he come in the team. It just might be the difference of you getting 5th and 4th. That might be the difference of you getting Bellingham or not. So it's just about, so I always reference that we get people too late. So we got a centre-back too late in 2 seasons ago when we had centre-back injuries, and we got Kabak. And then next season, who was it that we got? Diaz, and we got him in January, even though we needed one at the start of the season. And then last season there was the midfield, and we got Arthur on the last day as to accommodate, and then we got Gakpo in the middle of the season. So it's about being too late. So on Bellingham, it was one that I was never too confident, but it was surprisingly closer than what even I could have expected. So yeah,
you know
do with that what you will.
I was in the train of not getting Bellingham, and a lot of people had to suffer for it. Thankfully, I'm not suffering as much because I actually watch the guy on a weekly basis. But when people say, I think this is the problem with us Liverpool fans as well. I make my judgments on who I've seen. And when people become so invested in a certain player, they pretend as though they've seen that player, and they're like
Nunes,
guy.
You're right.
Like Nunes.
They defended Nunes before Nunes joined. They had never watched Nunes.
Not gonna lie. I said this the year before we were challenged for the quad, that I wanted Nunes because he's something different. Because we had Firmino there, he was still doing his thing. Yeah, exactly. As an option. But
that guy should be a Divock Origi replacement. We should have kept him with the 27 shirt. That was fine.
Should have been a squad player. He should be a squad player.
Honestly.
No, go on, Ram.
I was just on the say. I was going to say, on the point of all of our transfers, and when we're saying, "Oh, it's going to work," or "It's going to not," or we need to get this guy. I thought as though people just didn't really watch Bellingham that often, because I've been hearing Steven Gerrard comparisons, which is one of the most BS things I've ever heard in my life, because he is nothing like Stevie.
He is not.
And saying that he's
at that age, he was better though.
Oh yeah, but he's.
Can I quickly? I've got about
because he was better than Stevie at that age.
Anything you want to add before you close up?
Quickly before I go, on this thing, very quickly. Jude Bellingham is when I knew that our owners were finished, and to be fair, that's when I knew that a certain corner of our fan base, unfortunately for them, it wasn't because of their faults, but they were finished as well. Like I was like, right, we are actually finished. Like as a club, we're done. Like we're done now. Like, and I'll tell you why. Because, bro, like I said, like I'm just any guy. Like I'm just any YouTuber, bro. Like any guy. I'm sitting here thinking, regardless, prior to him even stepping a foot on Qatari sand, like. Man knew what time it was, bro. I knew what time, and you know you're laughing because I said it to you, Flawless.
You did say it to me. That's why I'm laughing. You did.
Early doors, I said this guy is going to be surplus of 1 million. Like, and the fact that man were even entertaining that bullshit was crazy. You know your brother. You know you've got. Like, and I am African, innit? Like, I'm half Ghanaian, innit? So sharp.
Jeez,
You know you've got the most
Big up.
stingy. You got hardback African parents, bro. Like you don't get Air Forces to go to school, but these men are thinking, yeah, man's getting the A class. Like, you dickheads. Like, and the thing was as well, I was thinking, if there was by any means that we ever even got a sniff of Jude Bellingham, we were finished, because Jude Bellingham isn't the one factor that is going to make us challenge Man City. And are you fucking dumb? Now you think that there's going to be next money to splash on man? Are you stupid? This is what I'm saying. The man were crying. And the fact that it took the time that it did for these men to be like, oh, you know, that money we can get other players now. You fucking dickheads, bro.
It's the fact that they waited 2 seasons for it.
What's
2 seasons
going on here? Finished, bro. This is how I knew that, bro. My club is done. We're done out here, bro. Like, what? I'm hearing man actually say, and the media are sucking these man off. Like, oh, you know, maybe it's a good thing Liverpool didn't get better because now they can spread their money a little bit more. You pricks, what's going on here? Like, nah, bro.
But the way you said that, bro, I can just imagine it right now.
You know why? Because that's been the talk. That's been the conversation.
Bro. No one's hotting up, man. Like, I've been sitting there like, are you fucking dumb? Like, what are you? What a stratosphere! Are you? James has sat here and literally talked about our owners for an hour, and these are the same owners that are going to splash 100. What the fuck? Do you not know football? Did you think that you was going to get Bellingham for 50 mil? Mount is going for 58. What did you think Bellingham was going for, you pricks? The man is sitting here like, oh my god, like, you dickheads, bro. Like, I don't care how close he was, bro. I don't care how close he was, but he could have been closer than Fakir. He could have been literally wiping his batty with an LFC fucking printed toilet seat, bro. He's not. Bro, are you dumb? Are you actually dumb? This is our club, bro. This is our fucking club. Like, and now way past. Now you're sitting here talking about, yeah, you know what? That's why I said our club's finished, because it seems that we're seeing their decision making in real time. That is a fucking problem.
Can I add another name?
That's a fucking problem, bro.
Can I add another name to that?
Go on, bro.
Vardio.
Oh yeah, you lot were linked with Vardio, right? Yeah, you was, isn't it? It was Vardio.
Nah. Yeah, we were linked with Vardio the same way we were linked with Mbappe. You know what I mean?
He was a strong link. No.
I'd say it wasn't like
anything you want to say to the chat. Hey, Saint, big up every single time. Love, fam. Every time.
Big up, man.
James, it was good to see you again. And that Ram, you know, we were talking that.
Yeah, it is, man.
Next week we'll be here and we'll talk about fuck all, because there'll be fucking going on. Love, my guys.
Just talk about life. He's right though.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that. I've done this thing. I've been unbelievably consistent, you know, boys. I've been doing streams every night and that. Yeah, like big up myself, because
I see you, man. I'm subscribed, man. I see it just pop up on a notification.
You're my G, bro. Nah, you're my G, bro. Bro, I'm getting to a point where I'm just thinking, like, I'm just here for vibes now. Like, chat, if you just want to ask me anything about my life, like what I'm doing, like, I'm not even doing much, but I'll tell you about it, because yeah, I can't do this no more.
Yeah, man, that's all Liverpool channels, James, man. Everyone's just tired of transfers. Nothing, no shit is happening. We just talk about life. Talk about life lessons with Flawless, Rams, and James. How about that?
Yes, the guys.
Warrior J. We just went through some of these comments. Club's figures met with Onana's agent last week for discussions over a potential move through. The final decision hinges on the future of De Gea. That's from Chris Wheeler DM. Big up for this Warrior J. I did hear this. Obviously, this has popped up in regards to United being linked with Onana. I'm all for it. I believe De Gea's contract actually runs out Friday. Reports came out today stating that we had offered him a deal. He was going to sign it. And then Ten Hag said, no, he was unsure on it, which I'm all over. It's time to move on De Gea. if we do indeed get Onana in, I'm all for it. It's someone Ten Hag's worked with before. I've not watched him like that, but we need an improvement in that area. So if that's Onana, cool. If that's another goalkeeper, cool. It's just time for De Gea to be moved on. And like I said, when I see people, said this earlier when I did the Man United earlier, just the Manchester United show, not one of these crossovers. And people talk about, oh, how could you treat a legend this way? And that's not the way to treat someone who's won trophies and been here 10 years. Bear in mind, he tried to leave us. Like, people forget this. He tried to leave us for Real Madrid. Van Gaal dropped him. You know, people forget that at the start of the season, I can't remember which season it was, dropped him that season because his head wasn't on it. It wasn't right. So, like, that's where I stand with it. It's like, yo, it's time to be moved on. Like, it's unfortunate, but the only club linked with you is a Saudi Arabian club. Move on. Simple as that. And to Taha, who's mentioning Agenda FC, I'll chat to Lewis and we'll try to get that popping back on his channel 110% as well. Let's see what else. Yeah, we'll go to this from Shikaru says, well, this was for James and Saint, but Rams, you too. What is your ideal transfer window for this season?
I'll let you go first, James.
It's a good question.
I'd like to hear what you're going to say.
I analyse football from two different standpoints. I've got the realistic world and the ideal world, right? So the ideal world involves...
Let's have both.
Yeah. So the ideal world, I'm chatting right back, I'm chatting 2 centre-halves, I'm chatting 3 midfielders, and a partridge in a pear tree with an attacker. That'd be nice.
What a life.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But in a realistic world, I would genuinely be proud of FSG based on the very below floor standards that they've set. But I'd be so proud if they went out and got another midfielder, 2 more midfielders and a defender. If they can do both of those things, I will be that would over exceed what I had originally had set out for them in the summer, before the summer. So yeah, I'll put it that way.
Could you name names?
Names?
Names. Yeah, I want names.
This guy.
I'll take a nice little bit. I think Kone would actually be a 6 signing. If you told me Barella or Kone, I'd take Kone. It's one of those things. I rate the player that highly. I think he's a good player. I think he has promise.
Make sure Hussam don't hear you say that. Make sure Hussam don't hear you say that.
I'll tell that Hussam guy straight, bro. Don't even worry about Hussam. He's been on my channel. I've settled Hussam, okay? I've settled the score with Hussam. He doesn't see it, but he will one day.
He still hates me for pissing him off about Barella because I chat so much shit about him.
Does he not like Barella?
No, I just do it just to piss off Hussam. I rate him. I'm still a bit tentative because I still have this thing about Italian midfielders not doing well in the Premier League. It says a little bit of something, and yeah, like for me though, I'm the same with James. Like 2 centre mids, ideally a centre mid, a centre mid and a DM, a backup right back, and a centre back would be a very, very, very good window for us.
Can I ask you something, Rams? Do you know the Lavia link? I'm seeing that with a bit of legs recently. I'm wondering what you're thinking because I'm looking at it from a standpoint. We've got Stefan Bajcetic as the backup. Now, I don't understand why we're going to go out and spend £40 million on someone who I don't know if he's much better than Bajcetic. So why are we going to spend 30 to 40 million pounds on a player who is already there? And if Stefan Bajcetic weren't ready, then we went into last season with a backup CDM who weren't ready. That's what it tells me.
It's a difficult one. I think it's because of the way I see it. I feel as though Klopp doesn't see Bajcetic as good enough to play as a number 6 on his own yet, and I think I'm the same as well. I'd rather him playing in a double pivot than him playing as a lone 6. I think he needs to go gym. In my opinion, he needs to bulk up a little bit. And I think Lavia's more established. I think he's already called up for his national team as well. So he has played some pro minutes in his locker. The way I see it, if we do sign Lavia, it means that Fabinho is going to be leaving next summer.
And he's 100%. Good enough to replace Fabinho, you think?
I think Klopp sees him as good enough to replace Fabinho, which is a bit of a worry for me. It's very, very much work. But the only way Lavia works if Trent is playing inverted. That's how I see it work.
You know what?
I'm not very keen on that being your only system. I need a mixture of systems for us to be very healthy in what we're doing. Personally, for me, I wouldn't have Lavia. I said it before. I'd have Yusuf Fofana from Monaco, but I can't get what I want in it. Liverpool and me just don't mix for some reason. So that's how it is. That's how life works. But I see Lavia having links, but if we do sign him, that means Fabinho's gone, and I think Klopp sees him as good enough to replace Fabinho. And Bajcetic may be like the, how do you say it, the auxiliary 8/6 midfielder.
I was going to say, do you think he's going to play more advanced if he's considered good enough?
I think so.
Because I think he has quality.
I think so.
I think Klopp sees him as someone who's got quality, so that's why I think he's got plans for him.
And hopefully, I don't know if this is going to be a massive long range shout, but I think Klopp is also preparing for the future after his tenure.
Yeah, win trophies in the meantime, please, because we're not going to be winning much after based on case studies.
Bro,
you know what I mean?
Bro, like literally, I'm on the same boat, man. Like, if you can see underneath my name, Alisson best in the world. I have conversations with Flawless saying that Alisson is ability wise is top 3 goalkeepers of the Premier League era.
Alisson, Flawless, I would absolutely destroy you in a debate about Alisson. Don't even start me about Alisson.
Who? What do you mean? I rate Alisson highly.
Okay, then in what regard? Are you trying to say that he's not top 3 of all time?
I know. I haven't said he's not top 3. Rams just said he's top 3. Yeah. I don't. I'd have to think about goalkeepers. But he's up. I think you said this guy attacking me. I've not even said.
No, I never said that. I'm just watching you, Flawless.
I was just letting Rams finish.
You were just looking at me like the guy at the corner of the street, and I was thinking he's looking at me funny. The corner of the club type idea.
I was just paying attention to it. Like, he's definitely up there. I wouldn't argue somebody down if they was to say that. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely up there. Like, yeah, all bias aside, if someone said he's top 3 in the Premier League era, yeah, it's very tough to argue down.
Jeez, Rams really just let me threaten someone without even letting me know that weren't even his claim. Are you going to be serious,
Rams? I just look, you know, everyone knows me, yeah? I'm the Alisson stand, yeah? If anyone chats
Rams is the type of... Rams, let me tell you the type of guy that you are. You're the type of guy, when I go out for a smoke, when we're out in a club, yeah, you come out and go, oh, James, this guy's trying to beat me up. I'm like, nah, let's go and sort him out. Lad, nah, we're not going to go. We're going to go in and speak to him. No, but James. And you're not agent enough. And we go in and then it's friggin' Brock Lesnar staring at me in the face. And I'm thinking, what are you doing? Getting into beef with him. And now I'm in the shitter. That's the type of guy you are, Rams.
Yeah, that's like Jay is. Yeah, I don't. This is like I said, I've not actually thought about it in depth for it. Someone said Alisson's top 3 in the Premier League era. That's cool. I have no issue with that. He's probably top 3. He probably is top 3. He's up there.
The thing is, right? I did sort of bring Flawless's name without really needing to bring out Flawless's name.
This guy
because every time I mention it,
he will get you jump.
Every time, bro. I'm the most likely person to get beaten up if I do something stupid. I was about to say you're close in the sense that I get myself into shit, but I also am the guy that gets so far into shit that I end up getting my ass put down onto the floor, bro. That's how bad. Man. That's how I is. But that's like,
what a very accurate analogy. Fair play.
The analogy's been on point, but yeah, Alisson's definitely up there. I've just heard Rams say this before in regards to. I rate Alisson highly. I'm saying it's a shame. It's a shame you not got him. But yeah, he's a top quality goalkeeper. I use him as the example all the time, in particular with David De Gea, when people say, oh, I want a goalkeeper who's Premier League proven, or there's no unknown goalkeepers out there that you can go and get. Before Liverpool signed Alisson, nobody went talking about Alisson as one of the best goalkeepers in Europe.
That's right.
Now it's not a dispute that he's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. So I'm saying, go and find me that. Like, Alisson's not the only Alisson out there. There's other goalkeepers of that caliber. You just have to go and locate. Is it very tough to do? Absolutely. But the scouts and the recruitment team at Manchester United are paid extremely well to do an extremely tough job. You are compensated for the difficulty of your job. This is why you're not paid minimum wage. You're paid thousands upon thousands of pounds a week to go and locate top quality players. In this instance, a goalkeeper of that caliber that is good enough for Manchester United. Like I said, Alisson, nobody went talking about him before he went Liverpool. Was it Fiorentina you lot signed him from?
Roma.
Was it Roma? Yeah, Roma. Yeah. No one went like, go get me Alisson now. There's more hype now surrounding, say, a Mike Mignola or none of them there was about Alisson at that time. Whoever went and got him, Liverpool went and got him, and then boom, signed him. And then now,
after all that, Flawless says he calls me a dickhead afterwards. So
yeah, because of the way you tried to set that up, like I disagree with the Alisson thing. You joke, man. But that being said, you mentioned something just earlier, James. Definitely, because we've not spoken so long. Want to get your thoughts on this? This is another talking point that's been around surrounding Liverpool. Trent, Would you like to see him be playing right back invert? Would you prefer him as a traditional right back? Do you want to see him play as a central midfielder fully? Like, where do you stand on
Can I add one more question on top of that? Flawless?
Yeah, go on.
Would you like to see him wear the number 8 shirt as well?
Do you know what? I'm not asked about the last one. I couldn't give a fuck about what players wear. You know what I mean? I just couldn't give a fuck. It's just one of those things. Why do you want to see him wear number 8?
I don't care. Honestly, I thought you would care, but sadly,
nah, lads, I couldn't give a fuck on that one. I just want him to see him play well, bro. And I'm not gonna lie, I just look at Trent and I do think you are a centre mid, G. Like, you're a centre mid, like, just everything about him screams centre mid. I understand Klopp got a tune out of him at right back, but the same way Kimmich went from right back to centre mid, I'm on board with that idea, man. It's just one of those things where, you know, I think he's got the ability, and he's clearly not got the defensive ability for the team that if we are to lack next season in certain areas, we need him to be as sharp as anything. And unfortunately, we haven't got that systematic structure and strength that we had before, which is what alleviated and, you know, sort of dismissed his defensive issues, because we were the team in possession. We were the team that wouldn't, if a team had a chance, it'd never be a good chance. or it'd be when, like, we switched off in a game, you know what I mean? And it was really one of those things where he never had to do much. He could just do his job as an attacker. So in an ideal world, he goes forward. What will happen is he will continue to play inverted right back, because I'm nearly certain in saying Connor Bradley isn't going to be the starting right back next season. And we already know for a fact, I can tell you this 100%, we're not going to buy a right back. So if we're not going to buy a right back, and it's not going to be Bradley, and I know we don't like the idea of Jones being a right back, so therefore Trent can't play in midfield.
What happened to Calvin Ramsey?
He's a guy who came from a 9th place Aberdeen team, and this was the standard that we thought could be our backup right back. I'm not being funny or not. And Calvin Ramsey was always here to be an asset for the future. He was the type of player you bring in, you hope to sell him for a bit more when he goes. But the fact that, and if he was, and he was clearly, because we loaned out Bradley and we brought in Ramsey, like probably brought, like, our second option right back was worse than what we had already at our disposal. Connor Bradley mashed work at Bolton. Now, I'm not even shitting on Calvin Ramsey. He's actually a good right back. But that was the standard, a 9th place finish in the Scottish League for Aberdeen. That was the team that he came from, and that's who he bought.
He's a third choice right back, because if you think about the best teams in the world, you have three players per position. One established world-class player as your starting right back, an experienced backup to them, and then you got the 19/18-year-old.
Nah, you're right. Gomez was the backup, really, wasn't he?
He was, and I hate this shoehorning of players just around. Like, get me Kyle Walker-Peters, man. Like, I want actual players.
I said, do you know what? That's the exact name I brought up. I said he'd be cheap. And I'm only saying in the parameters of what I know we can go and get. It's in the facts, bro. Like, Spider-Man moment. Like, bro, it's in the parameters of what we can get. We can look at someone like Kyle Walker-Peters. We can say it's achievable. You know what I mean?
That makes sense. Kyle Walker-Peters to Liverpool as backup to Trent does indeed make sense.
He's good enough. He's stylistically adherent to the system. I think it works.
Do you remember, and James, remember when we were at our best in 18-19? Who was our backup right back?
Klein.
Who's very similar to Nathaniel Klein.
Exactly. No, you're right. You're right, sir.
Spot on, man. I was saying that. You spot on 110%. Again,
hey, allow me with the Hendo Nino stuff. Do you know people still bring up the Hendo Nino stuff to me, Flawless?
Yo, because you like I said when I introduced you, man, favorite content creator. You a superstar in this thing. So when you say stuff, it's gonna stick. That's like Stone Cold saying he's getting tired of the what chance. Like, that's gonna follow you around forever. You know what I'm saying?
People don't understand where that debate came from. It came from our friend Rance being a divvy and saying Paul Pogba's being boss recently, even though he was shit. And even though he's a good player all round, he was playing crap. And he was trying to say that he'd done more than Jordan Henderson. That was the argument. I was just saying, what has he done? You know what I mean? And then it led to this, James loves Henzo Nino forever. And I was just like, Henderson was at his peak.
I didn't know like that was the actual full story. Obviously, I've heard the Hendo Nino thing, but I've never actually known what it was initially was. You know what I'm saying?
Like James, I've now started to gain a reputation of that Alisson is my guy. I'm a stand for Alisson.
Nice, my guy.
I love everyone. I love Alisson, and everyone else can do one.
Bro, I'm on you. Bro, I'm with you. I'm with you there. Yeah, thank bro, you, Alisson is the Emma F&G. He is amazing. No, that guy is genuinely like one of the, like, we won't get a better goalkeeper than him for a good, comfortable
Bro,
line.
He's a high-value man, bro. He's a high-value man. I'll say it like my boys in Coppish said. He's a high-value man. 6-figure salary. Good at what he does. Speaks 4 languages. plays the guitar, has a beautiful family, beautiful wife, has everything. He's a fucking
Nah, bro,
Chad.
he's my guy. He's my guy.
He's
Yeah,
a fucking
I've
Chad.
suggested, like, if you look at someone like a role model and a leader in the team, yeah, you've got to look at Alisson in that vein. He sets an example based on his own performances. He's always communicating with the defense. Even like, there's so many clips last season where 1 second he's there telling Trent to fucking get somewhere. He's like, fucking get there. 1 millisecond later, he's there making a world-class save. And I know that's the standard of what you'd expect from goalkeepers, but I mean, goalkeepers. Watch goalkeepers a lot of goal. Watch De Gea on set pieces. He'll do a little arm point, but he's not really communicating with people properly. Alisson is the orchestrator of where defenders should be on the fence, in corners and stuff like this. That's why we don't concede many, because you've got a guy there who can actually orchestrate the defense properly if someone's out of place. So I only raise that point because he's good communication, he's good on the ball, and he's good at shot stopping. Everyone has a mistake in him. I just don't know how we get better than him.
But one thing I'll say, James, is even though he organized, he just has that sense of calm around him. He's not like, I'll give you a great example, Pickford. Yeah, Pickford is decent at shot stopping. But one thing he does, he's a bit too angst for my liking, and just gives a little bit of like chaos within the centre halves and the back line. I feel like with Ali, just everything's so much more calm. And if anything goes wrong, he's going to be there. That's how I get it.
Let me give you an insight of Alisson's character. I think it's important to analyse a man's character, correct? And
don't worry. I already know.
From knowing what he can do. But I'm going to bring up one thing that maybe you might not expect. For instance, he's a man of God, so he goes to church, right? Yeah, he's a Christian. So this is one thing that I noticed. So for instance, he also baptised Bobby. So he's that type of guy. That type of guy who's now bringing players into what he believes. Selfless. So now the reason why I'm telling people this, and the reason why I like to bring it up, not just because I'm a Christian and I think it's quite cool, but I actually think it's cool from a standpoint that he's such a leader. You have to analyze, like, whatever church you go to, there's serious people in church, proper gentlemen, in a sense of, the leaders, the great communicators, all these things. They've just got the right traits that I can trust this person to teach me things. I can trust this person to lead. The same way Alisson is one of those things. So when I say a testament to a man's character, when you see what they get up to outside of football, that's when you can analyse it. And like Callum and Matt said, he's very talented in many realms, can speak multiple languages, but then also as that aspect. So it just shows how much of a leader he is, mate. He's boss.
See that, people? And you see how James and Rams there were speaking about Alisson. This is why I'm so critical of De Gea when James has mentioned there the communication and things of that nature, commanding your box. That's the level we need to be at, like in terms of in that department. I'm not just criticizing to criticize. We've all watched it. United fans, this. Anyone who's been to actual live games or watched it on TV, you see like a cross will go into the box, no one will be on it, and one of our defenders will knock it out for a throw-in. Or knock it out for a corner, should I say. And then they'll point at De Gea and it'll be like, you'll see him literally say no communication. That's legit what it is. So hopefully, full circle back to the goalkeeper situation. I hope that we do indeed let De Gea go and we don't sign him to a new deal in these next few days. Move him on. Like, that's a statement of intent right there. It's time to move him on to try and improve. And to big up to Black Diamond as well, who says, let me get to this. Man going after me on Twitter for De Gea, flawless, you come to my defense on Twitter. So why I don't argue, I don't debate on Twitter. This is what it is. Like, I'll run banter and run jokes, but in terms of getting actual back and forth debates with people, I can't be bothered.
You can never get on Twitter, man.
Yeah, we don't debate. We can debate here. I've done it many a times with the chat. Regulars will know this. We'll go back and forth and stuff. Let's do that here, where they can say fully what they need to say, and I can get everything off my chest, because you can't in that many characters. Things can get taken out of context easily. Yeah, go on, Rams.
That's why the YouTube scene is a lot better than Twitter Spaces. That's what I got to say about that, man. Like, when you get into Twitter Spaces, they all want to try and throw a little bit of banter, try and get their points across without any context. Here, you can have an actual proper discussion on what you want to talk about football without, obviously, you get clipped up, big up Out of Context Sarcasm City.
Big up Out of Context Sarcasm City TV every single time.
It still have the realm to talk about the problems of your football club, what's great and what needs to improve and all that kind of stuff, man. That's why.
Yeah, that's why I do that on here, because it's easy. I could easily tweet something, but then I can't add context simply because I've not got enough characters, where here I can explain exactly what I mean. And then if someone doesn't understand, then I can get the question from them and then actually answer them like fully in depth. No, this is what I mean by this.
It's just a waste of time
Yeah, it's
getting in an
easy.
argument on
Easy.
Twitter.
That's exactly what it is, Rams. No, that's exactly what it is. We're in a day and age where we're, unfortunately, and it seems to, I don't want to estimate your gentleman's age. I don't know if you're exactly in mine or if you're a couple of years
I'm
above.
older than you, so it's calm. No,
Yeah. Nah, I'm only saying that, like, people in my, like, lad, we're a bit fucked. Like, you know, like, here's my point yet. You know, when the biggest conversation in the country becomes, what are you? That is when I think, okay, now something's going wrong. The fact our number one issue is, what are you? I don't want to go into specifics, but I think you get along the lines of what I'm saying.
I get what you're
I'm just saying that if that's the number one issue, you're going to get to a point where people are not open to discussion, because if they are aligning with certain things, then they are done. So it's just one of those things where if you can't align with basic facts and then your feelings override facts, then there's no way we can come to a premise. And also, if you're going to say that I am discriminating you or if I'm doing bad, because people do this in football. Get on this. Someone said to me, bear in mind, Sadio Mane's my guy. Bro, I've recommended recently, if we got a big enough offer from Saudi, I'd sell Salah, taking into consideration our model, which is sell to buy, and that we've got no assets. So that was the context included. Of course, in an ideal world, you keep Salah and you bring someone else in, but we can't do that. So I said I'd sell him. Someone in the comments had to go, oh, James, it's only because Salah's from Saudi and he's a Muslim and he's this, that you don't like him. And I responded, okay, the fact I even have to respond to this is something that I'm upset about, because I feel like I'm wasting my words and my energy. However, I will respond to this and I will say, go and watch the most popular video of all time, which is viewed by millions. I literally say Mane's the best player in the world. It cannot be an agenda.
Player in the world.
It cannot. You just try and stay consistent, and hopefully people will notice your consistency over time. So people to this day, even though I've explained it thousands of times, why don't you like Darwin Núñez? James, why do you hate Darwin Núñez? I don't hate him. I just don't think he's good enough to be a league-winning striker. But they interpret that as, no, you hate him. But I've been unbelievably consistent, because I've said this from before he even joined. So even if you don't respect my opinion and you disagree with it, you've got to know it's not coming in an agenda, because I've been unbelievably consistent. So that, and then someone, because this is how the argument came. This is the last point, by the way.
Yeah, it's cool. Go on, get off your chest.
Ivan Toney. Do you like Ivan Toney?
I'm a big fan. Just big fan of Ivan Toney. Why am I my club?
Flawless, you're on the same page as me. You know how good he is. Bro, I was chatting up this guy from time ago. So do you know when he got promoted with Brentford? So not time ago. Brentford. I said he should be one of the England strikers going to the Euros. Now, bear in mind, he just completed a season of championship football. So people on 888 are looking at me like, oh, James, what? But I'm just saying, no, he's that damn good. He's that damn good. He's that damn good. So then it goes to tonight's stream a whole 2 years later, right? And someone brings up Toney, and I say, I'd take Toney all day. And not only would I take Toney, he would get in the team tonight. Even with the bans, he would find a way in the team. So that's why I'm saying that Ivan Toney is, you know, if he came into the team, and Núñez was to then not start, the one thing I'll say is I was consistent on Núñez. I didn't like him from the start. And I was consistent from Toney, because people were saying you take Toney over Núñez. That's how I know you only go for fancy names and not football and ability.
Toney's back. Just putting this out there, and anyone who's watched me knows for any length of time, not as long as James, I've been a big advocate of Ivan Toney. That is the striker I've said I will take 110%. And people are like, oh, why would you take Ivan Toney? Even with the ban, because his contract runs out 2025. So come when the ban's up, or Brentford have him in the year 2024, he then has a year left on his deal. I'm taking Ivan Toney 110%. Fits the modern day striker role, athletic, you know what I'm saying? Like everything you need. Can play in a 1, can play in a 2, can drop off, get assists, get goals, etc., etc. What more could you need?
It's a better version of Emil Heskey, man. A more clinical version of Emil Heskey. I love Emil Heskey, so it is what it is.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know you like that Emil Heskey Michael Owen partnership for England. I see you, Ram.
Shut up, man. Honestly, good. Had to bring that up, honestly.
I see you in it. But hey, large of everyone who has locked in, still continue to bump up the likes. Gone over 100 likes, so large up. Make sure you subscribe to James's channel as well. He's doing great content over there. One of the mods, please drop his link in the chat again, please, for his channel. And make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell over here as well. Check out the upcoming live stream schedule. Let you know all the shows that are coming up on the YouTube as well as on the Twitch as well. Sorry, I couldn't do the fan calling show for you lot. It's simply because Battle of the North was on today. So that's why I could not do the fan calling show. James, anything else you want to get off your chest before we do indeed close out that you may not have spoken about?
The therapy session is now closed, my G. I appreciate the time and for you listening to me. It was very much needed.
Yeah, man. Always, man. I tell you, anytime you need a platform to get something off your chest, here. Anytime.
Shout me again. Shout me again next week. Give me a couple of days. Shout me.
Yeah, definitely. 100% will do. Rams, my guy, anything else you want to add?
I love these sessions, man. I mean, sometimes I know for a fact, Florida, just a heads up, nothing's gonna happen next week. So we gotta find some way to talk. Some way just to fill in the hour because nothing's gonna happen. Like James,
we'll get a couple of things that add to what we've been saying tonight, so we'll just talk about that.
Nah, but James, you know our club. You know how bad how they run. Nothing's gonna happen, man. Like it is what it is. But large up to everyone in the chat, large up to everyone that's listening, that are watching the replay, and large up Flawless, big up yourself, and James, always an honor to be on the same platform as you. And big up Saint as well.
Made up we could get to do content. Have you got Instagram, Rams?
I got Twitter.
Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or anything, but if you send me a message on Twitter, lad, just cause I'd love to do a show with you in future, so it'd be good to stay in contact.
Go, man.
But now, big up everyone, man. Big up everyone.
Yeah, man. Love to everyone who
Big
has locked in. Big up. James's channel is in the chat. Also, don't forget this show, all the other shows on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube are available on audio-only platforms, people. So SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts, type in Sarcasm City TV. You will find this show and all the other shows. Just in case you might want to listen, like I always say, whether you're cooking, whether you're cleaning, you might be driving, you might be at work, might be at the gym, might just want to listen via more traditional podcast means.
Maybe with your missus.
Say that again. What was that? What did you say, Rams? What did you say, Rams? What did you say, Rams? Say that again. Say that again.
I don't know where that came, bro.
What are you saying, Rams? Rams comfy, you know. What are you saying, Rams? Say that again, family.
Maybe with your missus, bro.
Yeah, facts. You could be a football fan. That could happen, true. And she's like, I don't want the YouTube app open. It might just be a SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes thing. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely fine. You're right. Because you know what I'm saying? Your missus might be a fan of the show, or she might have put you onto it. That's cool. Rams, you right. You know what I'm saying? And that.
What boys, what do you think the weirdest thing someone's done while watching you?
That. In a certain situation, that.
You think people have mashed while they've been listening to you, yeah?
Nah, no way. No way.
I was going to say that'd be an interesting choice, you know. My loud ass voice in the background.
You would be just like you make people laugh. We make too much jokes.
Nah, bro, you know what's mad? Yeah, you'd just be going. Right there, hello there, everyone. Welcome back to James Redmond TV. That's no way.
It can't.
My dopey ass. Oh my god.
Maybe what I think could happen, what's it called? Probably this like not strangest thing, but I reckon definitely like the debates we have or conversations we have would have sparked debates in between people. So they forgot that they're listening. So one of us has said something, and there's two people listening or watching. One of them agrees, one of them disagrees, and that starts a debate with them. That could easily. I think that's happened. I think this is definitely smart debates. Well,
we've caused
our sparks light up their sparks.
Yeah, man. Like they started their own podcast. Like they've got involved. Like I've done that watching podcasts I'm fans of, where I'm just watching or listening, and someone said something, and I've responded like I'm a part of the conversation. Because I'm just like, yo, that's crazy.
Nah, you know what I do? Yeah, I'll openly admit I talk to myself. Like when I'm alone, I don't like obviously the premise of talking to yourself is that. I reckon loads more people do it than they admit, by the way. But like I sometimes practice as if I'm on camera. I really take pride in my craft. And when I'm watching a podcast or something, I'm thinking, how would I debate this? You know what I mean? So, lad, I'll pause the YouTube and I'll be like, nah, this is why you're wrong. Lad, I just go in, point after point, getting the hours in.
Nah, it's right. You got to defend your craft because I always pay attention when I'm watching. Say you're on with someone, and I'd be like, oh, that's an interesting way at looking at something. I never would have heard that. That's why people on here will hear me quote people when they say something. I'd be like, oh, such and such said this, and I see where they're coming from with that. Like, because certain people, especially with like your team, use lot with Liverpool can mention something better than I can, type of thing. That's how I look at it, because you're just closer to it. So you're just getting
more context driven when we speak about it. Because
you're watching Liverpool, not you're only watching Liverpool week in, week out. You're more invested. So you're looking at much more detail than I am as a United fan. Same with me. I'm looking in much more detail with certain things.
But Flawless, just honestly, you wouldn't really care what Liverpool are doing, would you? To like a fine detail.
Nah, I care because you might have ops. I care what the ops are doing, 100%.
But
you've got to watch out for your enemies.
Yeah.
Fine detail.
It depends on not fine detail outside of like your first team. So like off the pitch, ownership.
Yeah.
I'm not paying attention to none of that. But like Liverpool, like Klopp, Liverpool first team,
the players,
I'm fully like invested. But like Pep Linders and shit and his book and don't care. You know what I'm saying? And that, like, that's not
Yeah.
for me. I'm like, all right, first team. I won't know like your bench players, for instance, but I'm paying
Yeah.
attention to like your team and how you lot play. Because same for City, same for
Yeah,
Liverpool,
same. Yeah,
same
yeah,
for
absolutely.
Arsenal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm paying it because we're gonna compete at some point. So it's like, all right, especially in this space where people are gonna say certain things. So it's kind of like, okay, make sure you know, don't so they try and blag you because you might not be fully aware in that. It's crazy. But yeah, large up to everyone who has tuned in. Big up. Anything
Big
else
up,
you
man.
want to add before we do close out?
Thank you for having me.
Comment, and subscribe.
Anytime, man.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Big up
man. Hit the
everyone.
like button. Subscribe. Always good. You know what I'm saying? Having you on, Rams. Hammers, man. About time you made your debut because obviously I've had the privilege of being on your channel, so I appreciate that. And we've worked elsewhere as well, so it was good to finally get you on as well. So yeah, people. Wednesday, Thursday. So tomorrow, well, technically today. Now today on Thursday, I'm taking a mini break, so there'll be no stream, so no Q&A on Wednesday. No Man United or the Manchester United Arsenal show on the Thursday. I will reschedule the United Arsenal show for Saturday. So me and Cam, you will get that United Arsenal show. Don't worry. Just a mini break. But for members, there's still videos that are out. So I uploaded 4 new videos. Well, not uploaded, re-uploaded 4 new videos, members only. They're the Sarcasm City podcast, which is just the current affairs stuff. So make sure you check it out. Hilarious content on there. Me, one of them telling a hilarious barber story. Second one was called, the episode title was Imagine It's 2 Pumps That Cost You. Third episode title was niggas shouldn't see your whole pussy print on the internet. And then what was the fourth one? It was wild. Me and Toxie was wild. And then the fourth one was social media held up a mirror to the world and showed everyone we're fucking idiots. So if you want content while we're gone, people, it's membership at any level. The videos are out. There's more as well. Views from the Dugout, which was the original football show we did on it before we became Sarcasm City TV. So yeah, make sure you check that out, people. Link for the membership is in the pinned comment. Big on my guy Victor in the chat as well. And if this is your favorite show, there is a playlist for this show on the channel. Manchester United, Liverpool show, Man United analysis at Anfield. See how Saint was here. Big up Saint. Rams, Hammers making an appearance as well. Always try to bring you the best here at Sarcasm City TV. But yeah, man, love to
Including
everyone
Ryan.
who has locked in. What you say, fam?
Including Ryan.
Yeah, that's the old man's in it. You know what I'm saying? And you said you turned on him. He's a joke, man. Shout out Ryan, though, the joker. Man's a comedian, some of his takes. Absolute comedian, I swear down. But yeah, man, you lot, I'm enjoying the mini break. Don't worry about that. But we'll be back at it Friday, 4:30 p.m., the Q&A, and then we're going to keep the content rolling. But this has been the Manchester United Liverpool show. Man United podcast meets the Analysis at Anfield podcast live on the Sarcasm City TV YouTube. Big up.